asking, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
It's not static, AM radio.
It's the Coolbet Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Daddy likes. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromella intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in. He's your dealer for life. The cracker 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites. Daddy likes.
6:02 on a Thursday morning. What's going on, everybody? Dusty and Lieutenant Eric with you today. You can only play Pete Left a Tire Fire so often coming off a loss. Thought we probably needed a little pick-me-up this morning, so we hit you with the 6 o'clocker song, courtesy Jaunty, who helped us get that done. Not helped us to get it done. He basically did it for us. And it is incredible. And they put the Nasty Chat in a real nice mood. Real nice mood early this morning.
What else do you want to do? Like, what else, do you want to go through the same exercise? Like, maybe a little NBA. Hey, how about pop on the mic?
Well, we'll get
You
to
see
pop
that?
on the mic.
Boy,
I've
oh
never
boy.
seen anything like it.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
And only he can do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, only
Yeah.
he'd be the one to do it.
And the Lakers down 20 going into the fourth quarter, up 2 with less than a minute left. And Kyrie Irving hits a huge 3, and the Dallas Mavericks end up winning that game last night. We could do an entire hour on just the 3 games in the NFL tonight or today. And
what does the hat say?
Edmonton Sports Talk. I mean, we are probably going to talk about the Oilers for about an
A
hour
little bit,
right off the
maybe.
top of the
Yeah.
show. Hey, conch for Jaunty, though, to get everybody in a good mood this morning. That's nice. Well, I still think the Oilers have a chance.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
I
Please tell me
don't know.
that's a
I
text. Is that
I'm just trying to be hilarious.
Okay,
just
yeah.
trying to drop funny jokes first thing this morning. I think I saw Tube Socks in the Nasty Chat this morning saying, hey, anybody catch that game last night?
I think the morning is for those types of jokes, right? Sailor chimes in and asks you, what time does the panic trade happen today, right? Like, that's the
Well,
next step
I mean,
here.
that's got to be the next step. Full-blown overpayment, panic trade.
Let's go, Kenny.
Move the first rounder, still suck, and turns out you traded a top 5 pick for Mackenzie Blackwood.
Yada, yada, yada. I'm doing an
Congratulations.
LTE edit on the Pete Left the Tire Fire, and I just changed Kenny in there. and away
Ken
we
left
go.
a tire
See,
fire.
it works, right? It's
Bobby Nix
seamless.
is still searching for the perfect person.
The search continues, yeah.
All right, so that's where we're at.
Hey, look, LFC captain, at least the Oilers didn't blow a lead last night.
That's a great point. I mean, they never played well enough to get a lead.
That's a good point as well.
It was a full-blown Ralph Wiggum Stoff moment because I was listening to the game on Ched, driving back from Marshall's power skating. I could pinpoint the moment that Stoff's heart broke last night. Like future Nielson Show guest, Bob Stoffer. I get in the truck. He's already on the officials. It's like 6 minutes in. Still 0-0. I was just
Still
like,
0-0.
This game can't be going really good if Stoff's already on the officiating. And then it's goal, bottom 6, followed up by goal, bottom 6. I think that's where Stoff's heart actually broke, the second goal from the bottom 6, because he just said, how did you let the bottom 6 score on you? And then it happens again. And, this is right what you can see right the moment when his heart breaks.
It's fine for all of us, but to do that to Bobby, hey? Like, to do that to Bobby, to break
know
Bobby's heart like that.
this guy, he's struggling. He's struggling through this.
How
right
about Munchmaster Flex, though, at 9:54 last night? Maybe, just maybe, the Oilers are just getting out all their bad mojo. And once they will just go on a nasty cup run and win it all. Let's go, Munchmaster Flex. It's the only sprinkle of positivity I've seen at all.
That would be the all-time turnaround.
I mean, it would be a hell of a flex. It'd be a hell of an exercising of bad mojo. And it'd be a hell of a nasty cup run, one we would never forget. But I guess right now, and given the, I mean, they had the day off, right?
Yeah, I had day off 2 days ago, so they're going to skate in today. They practiced at 10 o'clock our time this morning, and you know what that means? Probably new line combinations again. So they've got that going for them. Good thing Matthias Janmark was back last night.
He was, yeah.
Said no one ever.
Well, I forgot until you just mentioned it right now. That's
McDavid and Draisaitl
very
combined -7 in the game last night. Not ideal for your two best players. They're supposed to be leading your team to a victory. And somewhere Jay Woodcroft's sitting on a pile of money, just watching the exact same thing happen to the team over and over and over. Because if you thought a coaching change was going to change this, you were nuts. It was never going to change anything. I mean, this is change coach after coach after coach after coach. The group still doesn't know how to defend properly. And, I mean, there was a couple unlucky breaks last night, but, I mean, they put themselves in these spots where these unlucky breaks absolutely break their back. So we're going to get into this as we work our way through the show today. And I got it scheduled to throw up on Twitter a little bit later, so I'll ask you right now. 780-218-9999. You can get us in the Paris Jewelers inbox, where they got some good stuff going on right now. It's 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers, local family-owned business. Black Friday sale starts tomorrow, the 24th, with jewelry items on sale for up to 70% off. This is tomorrow. Black Friday sale, up to 70% off for 1 carat diamond hoop earrings, only $9.99. Well, quantities last. And they say, well, quantities last because they know they're going to sell out quickly. So if you want to get a nice special, look, man, Black Friday is when you shop for Christmas. It's that simple. So go do it at Paris Jewelers. You can visit them online at parisjewelers.com. One of you could end up winning text of the day for A&W.
great staff, great shop, great people. They look after you great.
A&W, the mushroom matzo burger is back, by the way. And pick that up for lunch today. How about I think $4.59 for a mushroom matzo burger?
Well,
Woo!
a little fuel before maybe your Black Friday shopping as well, right?
Yeah,
These
that's not a
next 2
bad
days,
idea.
right?
That's not a bad idea.
Fuel up and then get going tomorrow.
Sapporo J is in and says the Oilers need to go 42-22 over the final 64 games to get to the projected playoff line of 95 points. 42-22 the rest of the way.
Not impossible, but
impossible,
happy American
but
Thanksgiving to you today. And
really
that's
highly unlikely.
well, when you see what the effort last night and the play last night and everything involved,
If Bob McKenzie was still with us tomorrow morning, because he used to join us Mondays and Fridays, tomorrow morning, if Bob was still here, he would have declared the Oilers season over.
Maddie and I were talking last night at the Kingsway Boston Pizza about having Bob on today to talk draft.
Oh, wouldn't that be? Oh, God.
No game talk at all. Just
Come
draft.
on, tell us about this kid here.
Huh? You want to get nuts?
Pretty sure I heard Cass say last night on the pregame show he'd still trade the first-round pick this year for immediate help.
Okay.
Which would be an all-time ballsy move. All-time ballsy move.
Taking the heat off Kenny here, I see.
You would have to deliver UC freaking Saros to even justify moving the first-round pick right now, which, of course, is not going to happen. So please save your UC Saros questions. Donnie Boy says, so you're telling me there's a chance, eh? What was all that?
Oh, yeah.
What was all that 1 in a million talk? Look, the wild card, the teams that will be battling for the wild card are not overly strong clubs. There's a significant dip after about 6 or 7 teams in the West this year.
10 points back of a wild card this morning.
10 points back
on
of a
American
wild card.
Thanksgiving.
Can you overcome, and who are they chasing?
Well, you got Minnesota right there. You got the
Minnesota
Preds,
hasn't even been playing well.
No,
very
Minnesota's been dropping. Preds have won 3 straight. You got the Flames, Coyotes, and then I think, as you say, with a tier, the Blues, top, Kraken, and then Ducks. Those are your top 3 wild cards.
Your question there would be, could the Oilers significantly outplay all of those teams the rest of the way this season? And I think the answer to that, as delusional as it sounds today, and I don't even want to say it because I'm basically going to spend the next 3 hours ripping this team. But if you're telling me, can they drastically outplay Nashville, Seattle, Calgary, Arizona, Anaheim the rest of the way? Yeah, I think they still possibly could.
They could.
But they got a lot of things to sort out. They got a lot of things to sort out. You can hit us up in the nasty chat. If you need a conch here in the 6 o'clock hour, feel free. Let us know why. And, of course, in Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999 because, Wayne Gretzky, 99.99. Mark says EST draft party. That's where we are, November 23rd. Man, I don't even know, if they get to...
Oh, draft, I get it.
If
I got
they
Saturday
end up
Night
if they end up drafting in the top 5, we cannot have a draft party. This is not the decade of darkness where you're just trying to accumulate draft picks and everybody's like, I'm building for the future. This actually, and you can confirm or deny it if you wish in the nasty chat or in the Paris Jewelers inbox, this has to be significantly worse than anything we witnessed in this market during the decade of darkness. It was a decade of darkness, but you knew it was going to be a decade of darkness. The teams never had a sniff back in the Hall and Eberle and pre-McDavid era. I mean, hell, they ended up with Connor McDavid coming through the decade of darkness. So this is by far worse than anything that happened in the decade of darkness, man. It's not even comparable. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no way. They're playing even worse than they did at times in the decade of darkness with a roster that was supposed to be championship caliber. This has to be the lowest point for Oilers fans in the last 10 bloody years. This was supposed to be a Stanley Cup contender, and all that's happened in the first 20 games is you fired your coach at the second highest winning percentage, the best winning percentage in franchise bloody history, and you're still sitting here, how many years into McDavid being like, it's going to use another defenseman. Oh, boy, could use a goalie. And probably could use 2 bottom 6 forwards. It's rinse and repeat, man. Except it's finally caught up to you, and you're off to just an absolutely horrendous start. They're on pace for one of the second worst season in franchise history. In the year they were supposed to be a contender. So this looks the decade of darkness is sitting here looking at this season and going, wow, that's pretty pathetic. Think about that for a second. Yeah. It's that's how bad it is, right? I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not. This has to be worse than anything Oilers fans have witnessed since the 06 run.
But it's not over yet, and that's the thing is that, a trade next or whatever. I mean, is he still doing things? Nobody still knows kind of who's got the keys, right, and who's driving the vehicle here. And now moving forward, I mean, yeah, maybe you can go on a run. We've done the wild card mathematics and everything. But how much more nuts does this thing get, right? And how much more panic kind of creeps in now? And I'm talking not on the ice, but from a management point of view. I think there's room for concern here, even more so going down the track here.
Well, I think somebody texted in and said the inbox is just getting absolutely absolutely hammered here. But I think somebody was saying, let me see if I can, they probably sent another text since. But I think it basically was Noblock looks like a guy who was hired to kind of be a coach through another rebuild.
Yes, and
Which can't be the case.
This whole
man.
action, though, seems like it's done way too early. That's what it that's the feeling it got, right?
It was a full-blown panic move when
Yes.
they fired Jay Woodcroft. I mean, said it at the time. I said it at the time. They should not fire Jay Woodcroft. And then the decision to go to a guy with no experience. And as I tweeted last night, the management group that legitimately watched this team and thought, you know what fixes it? Coaching change. Now that same group is in charge of trying to figure out what to do next to fix it again.
And that's scary.
Which should have you very concerned.
That's scary.
Very concerned. Hey, boys, first-time texter, usual YouTube watcher. Without a doubt, the worst I've felt as an Oilers fan since the first 2 to 3 seasons after 05-06. This is the lowest I've ever felt cheering for this team. Expectations changed everything. That's in from No Handle Adam this morning. And we're going to get into the game. And we're going to break things down because they continually make horrible plays in their own end. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. You could have a bench that consists of Todd McClellan, Dave Tippett, Jay Woodcroft, and Chris Noblock, and Hitch. Put Hitch in there. He's a Hall of Famer now.
That's a bench.
You could have all 5 of those guys on the bench, and it still wouldn't help this group when they get out on the ice. That's how bad it is right now with this team. Hersey's in and says, morning, guys. We've talked about what this roster needs for how long, but management has backed them into a corner where nothing can be done. Like, is there even another move that can be made? The assets are thin. There's no cap room. Like, nothing. Brutal. Hersey. Like, it's a great, Hersey's obviously devastated, fired up. Yeah.
Well, but that's, okay, so now are you trying to somehow from the embers of this season create something to go on a wild card push, or are you shutting it all down?
No, you have to keep pushing. You have to. In the
American
end,
Thanksgiving.
In the end, maybe they come up short. No, it's not like the playoff teams are locked today.
No.
It's just like 76, 77. There's usually 1 or 2 teams that weasel their way in there, even though they're out of it at American
But you're
Thanksgiving.
not tempted to kind of bite the bullet on this season, move out some money, and plan ahead and just...
That's impossible. You can, like the Oilers...
Go forth.
The Oilers cannot
Right off.
be sellers until you get to like the deadline. You're like, okay, we're officially dead.
Yeah.
Somebody... Well, I don't even...
Then you get in front of
move?
it, and then you're like, I know, we're rebuilding. It's a rebuilding year. We always knew that. Like, you kind of...
Any of the guys that people would want probably have no movements or no trades.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to want anybody else off the roster. I'm sorry. That's just the simple truth right now. Northside Sandwich says, making a trade now would be a huge mistake. Every team would see the Oilers coming. Signing Halak is the only option for a change. Man, imagine that's where we're at. And I was a big Jarl Halak guy. It was in 2010 when he was awesome and they didn't play Carey Price in the playoffs and went on a little run. I was just like, man, maybe now's the time to trade Price.
You were this close to seeing E-Bug last night to the team that you lost to, and a team that went away from Halak the day prior.
Yeah.
If that's the remedy.
But I agree with panic trade right now.
Oh no.
Probably doesn't. Like they've already shocked the team twice. Right? This is what they said. The group, the guys just need a shock. Got to do something. So yeah, they send down Jack Campbell. Fire Jay Woodcroft. It doesn't matter. This group cannot be shocked into playing defense properly. Like look at the 5th goal last night. Kulak's stick sort of gets tied up in the defender. Now on the postgame show last night. By the way, thanks to Boston Pizza Kingsway for having us out. Thanks to everybody who came out there last night.
Great staff.
Good time. Things move. A couple audio issues in the postgame, but Matty Wanek figured those out, and we'll get with Mr. Lean here a little bit later, and he's in today. YouTube Trev's got the day off. YouTube Trev, he was having fun last night at Boston Pizza's old stomping grounds. He was going back later. He was working on a little something.
So many hugs, kisses, tears.
Everybody,
Like
it was a homecoming for YouTube Trev last night.
Hasn't been there in a week.
Now he's a successful guy. He's working with Edmonton Sports Talk now, right? So it was good to see. But as Cass said last night, we'll get into the morning after show here. Then I'll dive into the goals, I guess. Let's lay out the show for you this morning. We've got lots to get to, actually, today. Busy show, as always. And tomorrow's going to be a wild day here at Edmonton Sports Talk as well. Morning after show, we don't need to hear from Nuge. Nuge didn't really say anything last night. We'll probably hear from Noblock a little bit. Maybe from Evander Kane. We're going to dive into the NFL triple header. Where are you at tonight?
Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Centric Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day, especially American Thanksgiving. 3 games in total today, all kicking off 10:30. Lions, Packers, Commanders, Cowboys, your afternoon delight, and then a little Seahawks, 49ers tonight. That's the game I'll be there for, and it is Thursday, and you know what that means. $9.99 smoked brisket cheesesteaks tonight. Hell of a deal.
As they call it, the best deal in the business.
Best deal in the business. Yeah.
Best deal in the business.
Tonight. Be there tonight.
I don't know if we'll get into it in the 6 o'clock hour, but at some point we have to talk about Greg Popovich last night. If you missed it, wait till this is just you'll never see it again.
A gift from last night to kind of.
That was amazing. Yeah. Luke Gazdic, he was working last night on that Oilers game, wasn't he? He's a fashion model now. Do you see Gazdic's tweets?
It's about time he's getting
How
recognized
about
for that.
this guy?
That
hey?
drip. Yeah.
My God, yeah, the drip on Gaz is unbelievable.
He's even got that camera on Sports, and it kind of like follows him whenever he speaks like solo. It kind of goes right into his face. Like he's killing it.
He's doing well.
Yeah.
He's killing it, and he's doing great fashion shoots. and we'll get into that as we work our way through the show today. Coolbet hotline of the day. Of course, more of your reaction to the Edmonton Oilers and the tire fire they somehow have become again, which it just blows my mind. Ian Rapoport is going to join us Thanksgiving Day down south, and 3 football games to tee up with the rap sheet. We've got kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's. We've got 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. 8:30 today. This should be a good one. I got beef. Eat fresh, eat local, eat Acme. And we got more show meats, too.
We do. We got fresh
Yeah,
beef.
Corey was by last night, dropped off some show meat. And we got a nice little contest we're going to be doing, actually, with Acme. So make sure you stick around for that as well. And then the wrap for William Huff still to come on the show today. You know what else we need to do today, eh? We need to get a draft order determined for tomorrow's Saturday night live draft.
Do we ever?
And Mr. Lean, the commish, is actually in today. And we've expanded the draft already by a little bit via text message yesterday. Saturday night live draft happening tomorrow morning. That's a good thing. Yeah, take your mind off the Oilers tomorrow morning for a little bit. So we'll do that from 9 to 11. And then we're just going to throw your mind right back into the Edmonton Oilers because our pregame show is going to start at noon tomorrow. That'll take you right into our watch-along. We're going to be streaming ourselves, watching the Oilers maybe win against the Washington Capitals or full-blown road trip implosion. So I'll have that for you, and then post-game tomorrow afternoon as well. But what's this rumor right here? Like something's changing? Is this a draft order change? I feel like it might be the way we do the draft.
Yeah, I got
order.
a fax yesterday in our offices about some sort of, it was in all caps, and it had a lot of like dots to it, and said maybe perhaps potential changes on the way. And then
What does the commish have up his sleeve today?
I'll turn it over to him.
Find out in hour number 3. Is this going to, do you know, like, did you get the sense this drastically changes the draft? Or is this kind of like where we choose, where we sit and stuff? Is it like minor stuff like
now
that?
Now you're getting
or?
warmer.
So you do know what it is?
Well, I kind of do, but in the explanation, I was just listening and nodding my head. I didn't understand any of it. I was hoping for more of a thorough explanation today, but
Oh, boy.
we'll see. No, it's going to be something. Look, that's what you do. You don't rest on your haunches. You always look. It's like the NBA. Like we're always looking to do new, wild, crazy things, hey, to capture the youth of today. That's the EST draft, baby. This ain't your Nielson Show draft of old times.
This is going live on TikTok?
Yeah.
Because
Maybe. Why not?
Why
not?
YouTube draft. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why he's here, you know? All right, your text messages to the Paris Jewelers inbox. Hey, Dusty and LT, you can have Vasilevsky backstopping in the net, but they have no defense. The defense will hang out to dry whichever goalie is in the net. Also doesn't help that they have a defensive coach that made it clear he doesn't want to coach. That went in from Julio today. Hey, boys, how much does this reason rest that they had a high expectations on themselves in game 1? They said, not this again, and then just trickled down the lineup. How much of it do they need to get back and having fun and enjoying the game? Jack Campbell in his last AHL start was smiling through his mask the whole game. Post-game pressure seemed like he was enjoying his job again. If I was Jeff Jackson and Oilers management, I would put on kid camp over the Christmas break. Get them to run it. No cameras, nothing. Just tell them to have fun and find the enjoy of your body of work. This team isn't having fun. They got to find the enjoyment of playing hockey. Buys a mask guy. Yeah, you know what? But this isn't junior. This is the National Hockey League.
They get paid handsomely to be doing this.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to have fun, great. You want to be miserable? Great. Just win hockey games, man. I don't care if McDavid and Draisaitl look sad on the bench. You know why they look sad on the bench? Because they were combined -7 last night. And they were responsible. Like the 5th, well, we'll get into it. Let's get into your morning after show. Let me bring up the morning after show song. And we'll get into it today because we obviously have lots to discuss coming out of this game last night. If you're watching this morning, I mean, what was the worst part about last night's game? Would love your thoughts on that. We're getting into it. Let's get into it. Morning after show.
Being a fan of the Oilers today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to have your say? It's the morning after show where we will talk about the game and let you know who you should blame. You want a show where you will know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game. You want a show so people know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game.
Alrighty then. Let's dive into this. Somebody says Dave Jamieson should win text of the day. He was in the Nasty Chat earlier and said, yeah, but they narrowed their eyes in the third. Don't even get me started on the third.
Dave Nasty Chat already. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I know Staples tweeted last night. Dave Staples tweeted last night that, the third period is pretty encouraging.
Oh, give me
I mean, listen. How can you be encouraged by the third period when one team is sitting back? It's like if the Oilers ever had a lead in the third and they kind of just sat back, you go, oh, that's okay. They have the lead. They're protecting it. But, Carolina wasn't doing that last night. Like, oh, congratulations, Oilers. You tried hard for 15 minutes. Nothing about them trying hard in the third period should be encouraging to you. Nothing. Because all it means is that they didn't try hard enough for the first 40 minutes. Like, you cannot be at a point with this National Hockey League team that has a bunch of guys who are paid over $80 million to win hockey games. You cannot be like, man, pretty good 15 minutes late when the game was completely out of it. You really like their third? They had a critical power play with about 12 minutes left in the hockey game, down by 2, and they didn't piss a drop on it. You like that in the third period? Are you nuts? Am I taking crazy pills here? How can you actually be encouraged by the third period of a game where you lose to yet another good hockey team and you don't beat good hockey teams? They've only beat 4 garbage teams so far this year, and they lost to one of the teams that's below them in the standings. The third period was encouraging. Give me a bloody break. That's absolutely ridiculous. How about we come in any morning, and say, you know what was really encouraging last night? 60 minutes. 60 minutes looked really encouraging last night. You can't say that about this team when they play good teams. Nothing. So don't give me this. I almost swore.
Say it.
I almost swore.
You can do
No,
whatever you want.
I can't. It's for the kids. Like, my own kids would be listening. I'm not going to swear. But, mind you, I swear around the house all the time, so I guess it wouldn't matter. But funny swears. Like, not bad swears. Funny swears. It's always funny swears. I use them in jest, But anyway, it's BS. If you are encouraged by the third period of that game last night, check yourself. That's all I'll have to say about that. Like, let's get into your morning after show here. Brought to you by EM Utility Locating. Steady Eddie of the evening. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Visit them at emutilitylocating.com. We're talking GPR and concrete scanning, damage prevention, planning, design, education, and training. How about that? Planning and design. Imagine if the Edmonton Oilers had any sort of planning or design for the debacle that they've created. GPR and concrete scanning, damage prevention, planning, designing, education, and training. If you have a job that requires anything that is below you and you don't know what's going on down there, EM Utility Locating will keep you safe and will train you to do the job right.
They are the perfect sponsor for the morning after show.
It
this
really
season.
is.
It couldn't have worked out better. Like I every single game, every single morning.
I know, Matt's got to be sitting over there going, this timed out perfectly.
Just
lots of eyes on it. And, damage prevention.
Ding.
Hello. Your EST big moment that happened last night. What are you going with, Rick?
I'm not even going within the 3 periods. I'm going pregame, and Skinner kind of taking
My God, they can't even get through warm-up properly.
That's why, like, going into last night, and I rewind the tape a bit. I go back to the San Jose game. There are a few games during this season thus far that and even Big Uke last night at the Kingsway Boston Pizza, we kept looking at each other in jest, mind you, and saying, well, maybe it's this that turns it around. We do this with our finger. Ooh, maybe this is just, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. And yes, 10 points wild card. Sure, those teams, you don't really look at them as, This thing ain't happening, and it ain't happening pregame skate when your goalie can't keep himself upright and slides into the opposing blue line. It can't happen when you have a defenseman who's trying and gets paid maybe way too much than he should, take a puck in the face and start the game with toilet paper jammed up his nose. Like they are a skating, breathing, living meme right now, and it's not low hanging fruit. You're pulling vegetables. It's that easy to make fun of this team and this organization right now, and you go back to the coaching change, you go back to optics and perception. Why would you want to? It's almost like what Kenny Lawler said, but he was talking football. He wasn't talking hockey. It's a weird thing to fire a coach when clearly everybody kind of knew that it wasn't his problem. Now you're in the same area, and now you're even before games start, you're embarrassing yourself and getting chirped and all this stuff. I'm just right now, this team can't get out of its own way, and you'll talk about effort, talk about defensive miscues and mistakes and coaching and goaltending, and everything contributes to the overall. But this team right now is it's a tire fire, and it's in more than one. It's on the ice, it's off the ice, it's upstairs, it's everywhere. And I just think looking at Skinner not even being able to get through a pregame skate and stretch, that away you go, and you have the day off. I don't know what you did. There were no fishing pictures or anything, but to have a day off and then to come up with no energy.
Yeah.
This is what it is. This isn't expecting to get back to we're going to get back to, finishing a season on a big run and a historic power play. This might just be closer to what this actually is.
Which I still kind of don't want to believe
I know,
that they could
but you
possibly
might
be this bad. How can a team with Hyman and Nuge and Kane and McDavid and Draisaitl,
There are good players,
be worse than teams that were rolling out Ryan Jones? And I liked Ryan Jones, but let's be honest. I mean, he worked his sack off. This team could use a Ryan Jones in the bottom.
Well,
six.
Ryan
Maybe
Jones,
a
Ryan
horrible
McLeod.
example, but
Ryan Jones, Ryan McLeod, right? Well,
Ryan McLeod is the biggest, and like
This
he was skating last night. He was around it a bit last night. He had an assist last night, but he hasn't scored a goal in 34 games. Come on, man. Like, non-factor. I guess my EST big moment that would happen would be, I guess I'm going to go with the third goal last night. You give up two quick ones. It is a little bit of a backbreaker. But, okay, bad 60-second stretch. Let's get this game on track.
they've seen teams come back from two down twice
Exactly.
now,
It just
so
happened
why
to them.
can't you do it?
And then Teravainen scores on a play that there's three Oilers battling behind the goal line. Broberg lost the battle. McLeod lost the battle, then got the puck, then gave it away. Or one of those two guys gave it away. Cody Ceci had Teravainen, leaves him behind the net, goes to skate out in front of the net. But to me, it looked like he was ready to head up the ice and not even go and cover the guy who was in front of the net. And then Carolina gets a puck, backdoor tap in for Teravainen. That was kind of it. You're like, okay, it's 3-0 at that point. And then the 4-0 goal. I just got back to the Boston Pizza for the 4-0 goal win. And I was like, hey, boys, how's it going? Oh, good. All right, everybody. Who knows? We'll see what happens. And then Desharnais turns like the bloody Titanic. Jarvis, it was like Desharnais wasn't even on the ice. Like Jarvis just, whoop, see you later. And then Skinner should have had that one. So, I mean, disaster. But Teravainen, I'll go Teravainen's third goal. Maddie, do we have any post? Can we hear, let's hear Noblock. We'll get into Chris Noblock. Let me know when that's ready, because we'll go there for sure and hear what the coach had to say after last night's game. Super stat of the night. What are you looking at, Rick?
Yes, and we've had nights like this before and mornings like this before as well, albeit maybe in better seasons such as last. But I'll go with Zach Hyman's 2 goals. I guess when you're looking at a night like it was, it's usually one of Zach Hyman or. You mentioned the big four, and I know McDavid and Draisaitl have been near the top of the charts as we normally see them. But Zach Hyman, a pair of goals last night, 5 shots as well, leading all forwards in shots. So I'll give it to Zach Hyman just for his stat line, I guess, last night.
That steady of the evening is going to be tough to find. Maybe we come back around to Hyman at that point.
It'd be a
super
kind of your
stat
guy.
of the night last night.
9:29.
Yeah, Pickard, 9:29.
I don't know.
Why would you start Pickard next game against Washington?
Sure.
I don't even know. Are you honestly at the point where you're benching Stuart Skinner, who's supposed to be your 1A now because your 1B is in the American League and your other option's Pickard? Well, but I think I might start Pickard against
Maddie and I
Washington.
last night at the Kingsway Boston Pizza, albeit in jest, said they just flip him. You get Campbell and Skinner down there, and then you get Rodriguez and Pickard up here. The numbers they were putting together for the AHL were fantastic.
Or-
what's to suggest you don't bring him up as well?
Or you just don't trade out of a pick where you could have drafted
Hey,
Jesper Wallstedt
that might be the
and
one.
draft Bourgault. Because
was
you know
the,
what this team needed at the time? More forwards as opposed to a possible franchise goaltender.
That's that planning line you had there.
Great move. I'll never forget, like, when Wallstedt was on the clock at 19 or whatever it was, I was just like, oh, man, I can't believe this guy slipped to that.
Hindsight's 20.
And then they trade down 2 spots and take Xavier Bourgault because they were lacking offensive forwards at the time. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Chris Noblock, here's the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers following the loss last night.
Perhaps putting a full 60 together. Where's the concern level at when you kind of start as slow as you did tonight?
Yeah, no, we didn't give ourselves any favors there. Made it harder for us. And I just see a lot of guys who are working hard, do care, are so worried about making mistakes, and ultimately it's paralyzing us and holding us back, and just not playing with our instincts. And yeah, we just have to get away from it. And you see on the third period where we had nothing to lose, we just went out there and played a really simple game. We were fast and very direct, and we dictated a lot of the play. So we just have to more of that.
Coach, you talked about making mistakes. How do you maybe coach that out of your group?
I don't know if there's coaching as in the systems, make sure everyone's doing the right things and being in the right spots, and whoever has the puck, he knows his outs and he knows where his support is so he can make those plays. So I guess the coaching part is getting those guys in the right spots. But a lot of it's just feel, knowing when to hold the puck and what the next play is going to be. But if we can get all the guys together, moving in sync, and that'll certainly reduce the mistakes.
That second intermission, was there anything sort of specifically said, or just a realization that we got 20 minutes to try and get back into this, and that's why we saw what we saw from your team?
Yeah, no, there was a message. It was simple, it was direct with the guys, and whether it was what I said or probably one of the leaders what they said, I think they just put the first 40 behind, and like I said, there was nothing to lose. There was very difficult to come back in a game like that, but I thought we had every opportunity to. We had a lot of good scoring chances, and their goalie made some saves, and we had a little opportunity there at the end of the game. Unfortunately, we didn't get the puck on the face-off, but there's things to build off of from the third period.
What did you make of the Darnell Nurse situation? Kind of what you knew about it, if you expected him to be out there? It was a bit of a crazy warm-up into the beginning of the game anyways.
Yeah, it was very, very ironic that I was just the night before, or 2 nights before, when we were in Florida, I asked Stewie how long, or if he never wore a helmet for warm-ups, and he said, no, I always wear a helmet for that. And yeah, very unfortunate. Just puck, and we saw it on the video where puck came off the crossbar straight into him. Yeah, we had a player come down and had him on call in case we were going to dress him. And yeah, he obviously had some stitches and some work done, and he was able to come out after the first shift.
All right, there you go. There is Chris Noblock, the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. And if you're wondering why he doesn't have answers for this group, it's because no coach has had answers for this group. So I felt bad for him the day he was hired. He's been put in a spot here where the team, I don't know, can they just not be coached? Is it we'll continue to break down the goals here on the morning after show, because it's just extremely frustrating to watch them make the same mistakes over and over and over again.
Well, and Noblock's already getting a deer in the headlights type of.
But I feel like he had that at the opening press conference.
I know. That's so where does it go from there?
At his first press conference, he didn't even know what the roles of his assistant coaches were going to be. Dysfunction. And it has nothing to do with him. Chris Noblock gets a free pass the rest of the year from me. I'm sorry, man.
Well, but you can't. Yeah,
he
hasn't done anything to.
3 stars last night as we continue to roll through your EM Utility Locating morning after show. Seth Jarvis, goal and assist. Teravainen, goal and assist. And Chatfield with a couple of assists. Who's the 4-star of the game last night?
Really pick anybody else from that Hurricanes roster. You're looking around. All the ice time is divvied nice. Now you get a nice lead. But point production, everything. What a team. What a last night you're kind of looking at what you got in orange and blue, but then you're looking at what you got on the other side. And it's just like their hashtag cause chaos. Fun team to watch. It is a fun team to watch. So I'd say, what is 4-star? I'd say grab anybody from that Hurricanes roster there. Everybody's got at least a 1. Some have 2 1s next to their point production, goals and assists. It's a marvelous thing to see from a forward group. All 4 lines.
Well, and both of their top 2 defensive pairs are better than either of the Oilers' top 2 defensive pairs.
So
Carolina is just a deep hockey team. And I think you saw that last night.
What a forward group. Man.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's planning, baby.
38 star of the game last night. Where do you go here?
Much like my answer for the 4th, I guess. But
I'm going to go with Kulak. Kulak gets an opportunity to play with Darnell Nurse, goes -3, got his stick kind of tied up on the 5th goal, but there should have been other people covering the guy, who was wide open in front of the bloody net. How does that happen? That was extremely frustrating. So Kulak was -3, no hits, no shots, no nothing in just over 16 minutes last night as they decided to roll out 7 defensemen because, they have so many good defensemen. It doesn't make you any better by just playing another bad defenseman. It doesn't. Just play 6 defensemen. What's the difference? Playing 6 bad defensemen or 7 bad defensemen? You might as well get another body up front. Your EM Utility Locating Steady Eddie of the evening. We will circle back around to Zach Hyman. McDavid and Draisaitl are not producing at the levels that you expect them to produce at, but Zach Hyman still is. Zach Hyman still finds a way. In fact, I think he's producing at a better rate than he produced at last year. Zach Hyman last night, 2 goals, 5 shots on goal, a couple of PIMs, played over 20 minutes, ended up being an even player on the night. So Zach Hyman will be your Steady Eddie of the evening.
We salute you, Zach.
For EM Utility Locating. Visit them at emutilitylocating.com. GPR and concrete scanning, damage prevention, planning, design, education, and training. So the 5th goal last night. Please explain to me, and is it as simple as Kulak's stick gets tied up a bit, so he didn't have it on the ice, which allowed the puck to come out to the guy who's wide open in the slot. We broke it down with Cass last night on the postgame, and he was basically saying, look, Kulak has to go after that guy anyway. Kulak should be the guy who goes and forces the issue behind the net, which in turn means one of McDavid or Draisaitl have to come to the front of their own net to cover the guy who is wide open. One of those 2 forwards has to have the responsibility of being down there and helping the 2 defensemen. Instead, they're both standing there watching as the game officially, if you didn't already think it was, officially gets put out of reach by Marty Necas, and they go up 5-1 at that point.
And we've had multiple screenshots sent in of that precise play and that precise time. And that's an all-timer in terms of post-game with old Hickory. That's what you used to look back on in a swarm and all that stuff. We thought those days were behind us. This last night in that little frame that we've been sent in multiple times at 780-218-9999, that's taking you back to that time. That's exactly what that is.
Maddie, if you can screen cap that goal and throw it up. We don't need to run it. Just screen cap it. The 5th goal, Necas, just to show you how ridiculous it is that somebody would be that wide open. It just makes 0 sense. And Eric is right. We're talking 9 years ago.
It harkens back to
3, right in the middle of the decade of darkness, man. Right in the middle of it. Fraze and I used to bust it out on the post-show show. It was a post-show show with Eric and I in the Nasty Club, if you want to sign up. Fraze and I used to have the old Hickory stick, and we turned a little monitor in the technology we had back in the day, and we would break these things down. It was when Dallas Aikens was the coach, and even pre-Dallas Aikens coach.
Yeah.
And here we are in 2023, and it is still happening? It just doesn't make any sense how you can still be so inept defensively. There we go. Maddie's got it. And this is the closest they got to him. But tell me the last time an Edmonton Oiler was that wide open in the slot. If you're watching right now, if you're listening, hopefully you watched the game last night. It's the 5th goal we're talking about. How in the world is Natchez allowed to be right there all by himself? It's unacceptable. And it's been happening through McClellan. It happened through Tippett. It happened through Woodcroft. And now it's still happening with Noblock. This is not a coaching thing. This is a players identifying where they're supposed to be on the ice defensively. And even if you're like, oh, I'm not sure, pick up the open guy right in front. Like, look how many Oilers are around him. Yet he's in the most dangerous spot on the ice, and he's all by himself. It's just, like, that doesn't happen in bantam hockey. How is it happening over and over and over again in the National Hockey League? It doesn't, it's mind-boggling, man. If you want to know why they suck, that's why they suck. Because they just continually shoot themselves in the foot over and over and over again. And now they come out on this road trip where you're like, a chance to save the season. And what have they done? They've completely pissed away the season, and it's been even worse than it was prior to.
I said this trip was a test. I didn't think any season-saving stuff, but I wanted to see kind of the watermark. And thus far, I mean, again, this is what they are. This is people are still waiting. They're unpackaging this box, and it leads to we're going to get to the prize sooner or later. It's not happening. Prove me wrong. And if I'm proven wrong, I mean that's then we can all celebrate, and I'll take that. But I just don't see this team. I don't see any turning point. No corner turned. Happy American Thanksgiving.
So if you are Jeff Jackson, let's play this game. CEO of Hockey Ops, you already put your own coach in place, which is probably mistake number one. What do you do now? Right? You've tried to shock the room twice. Jack Campbell sent down. Did it shock the room? No. What ended up happening? They played some piss-poor hockey teams and managed to beat them. Now they're playing good teams again, and they're not winning. You made the coaching change. If there was any sort of new coach bump coming, it hasn't arrived. I don't think we would refer to it as a new coach bump now, even if they started playing well. So what do you do? Now, I know some people say, well, you know what, we're talking with DVD last night, Boston Pizza. Said, you know, the next hat to drop here might be Holland. And I'm like, well, and DVD agreed with me. I'm like, well, what's that do? That does nothing. Ken Holland's not calling the shots here anymore. The Jay Woodcroft firing was not a Ken Holland decision. You can try to say, oh, they went back and forth,
But we don't know.
That was not a Ken Holland decision.
But they're all up there, right? Like
Yeah.
It leads to the confusion.
Yeah. But firing Ken Holland right now, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be firing. People be like, oh, Edmonton media always protecting Ken Holland. I said that he should have been fired for sure 2 weeks ago. When you blew out Jay Woodcroft, I do not understand for the life of me why Ken Holland didn't go with him. But whatever. You know why he didn't go with him? Because he's a non-factor now. So if you were to go and change, if you're going to fire Ken Holland, I'm telling you, that doesn't do anything for this group because I'm not sure he has much say with this anymore. It would be another trotting out of like, hey, check it out. Here's another runt from the litter. We'll throw him out over here. That doesn't change anything. So I don't know what you're supposed to do. If you're Jeff Jackson, what do you do right now? I honestly think the only thing is you just kind of sit back and hope it gets better. I mean, what are you supposed to do? You're going to trade Ryan McLeod. Oh, cool. Like, who are you going to get? What are you going to get for Ryan McLeod? You're not going to get anything for Ryan McLeod. Very fascinating spot there, and I'll tell you that.
So maybe just doing nothing is the something that we've all been hoping and waiting for.
The reverse.
Yeah. Just leave it. It'll figure itself out.
With the way that this organization has operated in the past, we've got to be getting to the point where full-blown panic, overpay trade is a week away. Right? It has to be. That's how this thing has always operated. It's the same cycle you see all the time. Full-blown panic overpay has to be on the way. Right? It's going to happen. They're going to lose to Washington, and something ridiculous is going to happen on trade.
But if 2J is making that panic deal, right? You're like, because he's the new guy in town.
I'm not.
You're not cool.
I'm not. He has
2J
no
making the deal?
experience making trades as a hockey CEO.
Look, you either get the old guy who's out of it, or you get the new guy with no experience.
And
Take your pick.
his key decision so far was firing arguably the most successful regular season coach in franchise history.
You only get one making the decision.
From a winning percentage perspective, at least. So
head coach Mike Sullivan guys chimed in.
Oh,
again.
good. What's Mike Sullivan saying here?
I think it was a microcosm of our overall game, Sullivan said. We struggled making tape-to-tape passes. We couldn't execute. We made poor decisions. We lacked awareness. We weren't good in any aspect of the game. Head coach Mike Sullivan chiming in.
I do. I like that.
Thank you very much.
We do have Luke Gazdic coming up. We're going to dive into this with Gazdic. But we got some time here in the 6 o'clock hour. You want to crack these packs?
Yeah.
Reed dropped these off for us yesterday.
Yeah, Reed.
So this is some old school wax. This isn't a crack pack segment by any stretch of the imagination. But, this is just dropped off. We'll crack some packs with Wayne's tomorrow. Stature was released yesterday. And that's always one of my favorite products of the year. So I've got Fleer 91 baseball. And what do you have over there?
OPG 91-92 hockey. I already see a Gary Lehman peeking out of the
this
the
Fleer
package.
baseball looks just like the Fleer basketball. Ooh, I like that. All right, let's see here.
Here's the gum.
Anybody? Ooh, Billy Ripken. Scott Radinsky, Ron Darling, Chuck Krim, Ken Hill, and how about this? Slab it, ladies and gentlemen. Jose Canseco.
Oh, baby.
A Jose Canseco card.
In athletics.
Fresh off of a season in which he hit .274 and had 37 bombs. At that point, the second most of his career.
I'll raise you an Igor Kravchuk Central Red Army.
Yeah. Ooh. That was a great subset in that OPG set.
Yeri Herdina, Alan May, Craig McTapp, Mac T. Put it on the board.
Mac T. Put him on the bench.
Mark Tenorti, Yari Curry. Put him on the bench. Laurie Boschman, Pelly Eklund, Scott Young, and Gary Lehman. So that's okay. Thank you very much, Reed.
Yeah, that was a nice little drop off, little bonus sort of crack pack last night. You gotta love the wax. Eat the gum. Eat the gum.
Eat the gum.
That
Touch
would
the
be
wax.
pretty good. More on the Oilers coming up here, but Greg Popovich last night. We have to talk about this for a second. Greg Popovich last night. The Clippers are playing the Spurs. Kawhi is at the line. Kawhi, obviously, a champion with the San Antonio Spurs in his early days. He's at the line, and fans are booing him. And Greg Popovich, the head coach of the Spurs, walks over to the PA announcer, grabs his microphone, and turns around and tells everybody, hey, this is not what we do here.
This isn't Spurs basketball.
Stop booing. Stop booing. Like, has he adopted Kawhi Leonard? Like, is this his child? Let's listen to this. Here, I got this here. Let's play this.
Excuse me for a second.
Pops on the mic.
Stop all the booing and let these guys play. It's got no class. It's not who we are. Knock off the booing.
I'm telling the fans to lay off Kawhi Leonard.
And he kind of got booed as he walked away.
There's a weird...
I think my favorite part about this is right at the front where the guy goes, Pops on the mic.
Excuse me for a second.
Pops on the mic.
Stop all the booing and let these guys play. It's got no class. It's not who we are. Knock off the booing.
I'm telling the fans to lay off Kawhi Leonard.
Listen, Popovich has been a phenomenal coach. Like, one of the best of all time in the sport. One of the best coaches probably in the history of sport in general.
Well, maybe the longest as well. Like, the longevity.
Yeah.
He walks into that arena. I mean, he's got full run of the kid. He can do whatever he wants there. That's why this happens last night.
But this is a bad look.
I love it.
Like this, I think I like it because it's hilariously entertaining.
Sure, yeah.
But Come on, Pop.
But that's Pop.
You're going over and telling your fans to stop booing the opposition? What the hell is happening here?
He's been coaching that team longer than some of those fans have been on the face of the earth, right? Like, and that's what I'm just saying. He's standing there, he's listening to this, he's like, you know what, enough of this crap. It's Pop time now. I got to get this mic. Because he runs the roost. He's been there for, what, like 50 years? He can do whatever he wants.
Toons is the driving cat in the nasty chat this morning. Says Karen Popovich, which is kind of, I mean, that's kind of what that was, a Karen moment.
But nobody else in sports right now can do what he did except him. He'd be the guy that does it. If you were to ask anybody that would have the, and it's not like he was fired up or anything. Like it made him sad. It made him a little angry. And again, that is not San Antonio Spurs basketball. That's not how they do in San Antonio. I never knew that there was kind of a...
what do you think's going through Kawhi Leonard's mind when he's sitting there getting booed? And Kawhi gets booed by, I don't know, every other fan base probably.
That's like when the parents yelling at the ref.
Yes.
You're out there and you're like, Jesus, Dad, just...
This was like when
up.
I was on the grade 9 basketball team. There was 3 grade 9s. It was a 9-10 team. So all the grade 10s got to play. Us 3 grade 9s never got to play. And my parents and my parents are very passionate. You guys know my parents.
Yeah.
And my parents had coached me up until the end of grade 7. And then, move on to junior high school basketball and stuff like that. So my mom is very vocal. She always thought I should have been playing more. So I'd check into games with like 2 minutes left, whether we're winning big or losing big. I'd get a couple minutes at the end of the game, and I'd go out there, and my mom would yell, "Don't even bother going out now, Dust. It's the end of the game," like right in the front of the whole bloody gym.
She knows what she's doing.
And I was like, God, Mom, like, just let me get some court time here. Like, I'm not expected to start as a grade 9 on the grade 10 team. Like, it's just, let me be. And she's yelling, like, don't even bother. Might as well just stay on the bench. I'm like, oh, my God. That's the closest comparison I have to Popovich grabbing the mic in the NBA and telling his own team's fans to stop booing the opposition because he coached Kawhi back in the day.
And of all players, too, Kawhi, with his demeanor, just standing there being like, God. Like, he always looks embarrassed. But when Pop's doing that on the mic last night, it's that kid thing. Just shut up, Dad.
Spurs fans.
Wait for me in the vehicle.
Spurs fans, when Pop tells them to stop booing.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
Yeah, he wasn't angry. He was just upset. He was just disappointed, which is much worse. It is disappointing.
And Pop to Kawhi after the game.
You're going to live with me now. Yeah, I'm going to take care of you. Because I love you. I love you, John. Oh, I love you, John.
That's quite something. I'm pretty sure we've never seen that before.
I just love it.
Like, I'm not even sure Jackie Moon would have done that.
God bless the NBA, man. Their ideas are taking sport to a whole new level.
Nacho Man is in and says, it reminds me of when Bart and Lisa were booing Daryl Strawberry, and he had a tear in his eye.
Rolls off their back.
Those are all pretty good. Hey, guys, what happened to Louie on the Sportsnet broadcast? He's actually on the dad's trip with the Boston Bruins to be with,
that makes sense,
to be with his boy.
Sweet.
Which makes sense. I'd rather also spend time with my son than broadcast Oilers games right now.
I think you can say that today.
We do have a guy who's working the games in the intermissions, Luke Gazdick. He's going to join us. The rest of the show is, look, I'm going to throw out a quick contra for everybody. Thank you for being here this morning. We appreciate the support. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. And, hey, hammer that thumbs up. Hammer that thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube today. All right, there we go. There we go. Coyote Stevenson says, the Oilers could set a record by beating the 92-93 Oilers where no player had more than 59 points. That's how bad they've been. That's how bad they've been so far this season. We'll see if it continues. Luke Gazdick is going to join us. They tried to shock the group when they sent down Jack Campbell. They tried to shock the group when they fired Jay Woodcroft. What do they do to shock the group next? Luke Gazdick will join us for that. Our partners over at Pro-Am have a huge sale coming up this Saturday. More details on that. If you want to shop all of your Oilers stuff for Christmas this Saturday at Pro-Am in store is the time. We're going to get to that coming up. Coolbet hotline of the day. More of your reaction to the Oilers coming up in hour number 2. Ian Rapoport is going to join us here on a triple header Thursday in the National Football League. And then in the third hour of the show today, kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's. 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. We're going to set the draft order for tomorrow's Saturday Night Live draft. And then we've got I Got Beef. And, man, people must have a lot of beef right now. But what do you got beef with? We'll get there around 8:30. Cool little contest that we're going to actually get rolling here with Corey the Butcher over at Acme as well. So we'll get into that as we work our way through the show this morning. Right now, let's get to a sports rewind with Lieutenant Eric.
Oilers dropped their third straight on an East Coast road trip, 6-3 to the Hurricanes. Zach Hyman with a pair of goals for the Oilers, who find themselves with a record of 5-12-1. Road trip will wrap up tomorrow afternoon in D.C. against the Capitals. Elsewhere last night, Avs topped the Canucks 5-2. Kraken cooked the Sharks 7-1. Habs edging Anaheim 4-3. Vegas with a 2-1 win over Dallas, and the Preds double up the Flames 4-2. Oil Kings with a 5-3 loss to the Wheat Kings from Rogers Place. Oil Kings welcome in the Regina Pats tomorrow night, and we'll visit Calgary on Saturday evening. NFL Week 12 action begins at 10:30 this morning when the Lions host the Packers. The afternoon game features the Commanders visiting the Cowboys. And you can join me this evening at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge when the Seahawks welcome in the 49ers. $9.99 smoked brisket cheesesteak on special, as well as a free square board with prizes on the line. The Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge at Centric Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. And in the NBA, the Raptors clipping the Pacers 132-131. Toronto sit at 7-8. That's good for 10th in the Eastern Conference. Raptors host the Bulls in group stage action from the in-season tournament on Friday. Sports Rewind brought to you by Universal Rewind, reminding you that regular motor maintenance will prevent costly downtime. Contact them today to learn more about their motor maintenance services. Choose experience, expertise, and quality. Choose Universal Rewind.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.702 on the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here as we continue to break down the Oilers' loss to the Carolina Hurricanes. That's a tough one. We'll continue to get your thoughts. If you're Jeff Jackson, CEO of Hockey Ops, what do you do next? We'll get into that as we continue to work our way through. You can text us in the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or hit us up in the nasty chat this morning as well. Lou Gazdic, our hockey insider, today is brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Visit their in-store only Super Saturday sale that is happening this Saturday, the 25th, in store. They're going to have sales on Oilers jerseys, headwear, apparel, NFL jerseys, headwear and apparel, MLB headwear and apparel, autographed frames and memorabilia, autographed jerseys as well. It's in-store only this Saturday from 11 to 4, and they've hooked us up with something that we're going to be giving away here to one lucky Edmonton Sports Talk individual. It is a back of a seat from Northlands Coliseum, and it is signed by Kevin Lowe, Paul Coffey, Glenn Anderson, The Moose, Grant Fuhr, Craig McTavish, Bucky, Lumley, McClellan, Krushelnyski, Billy Ranford, and Andy Moog.
Jeez, one of one.
And we're going to be giving that away. So stick around here for more details on that. That's also going to be on sale, like 50% off at Pro-Am on Saturday. In-store only from 11 to 4 at Pro-Am Sports. You do not want to miss this. This is where you set up basically Christmas for your entire family. That is on the corner of St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, from 11 until 4 on Saturday. All right, well, let's bring in fashion model Luke Gazdic. Man, Luke, I have to say, those pictures of you in the suits and the little slider burgers, buddy, are you getting used to this life as a fashion model?
Yeah, this lavish luxury lifestyle. Honestly, it was pretty cool. We they brought all like the, I guess you call them talent in from Sportsnet, all the on-air people, and Jack Victor styles us all. It's honestly the best part of the job, boys, is all the suits and stuff that we get to wear. And We did this, for me, ridiculous photo shoot. Of course, I hold a slider too, and it looks like I just have gigantic hands and I'm holding a regular burger. But no, I'm a little awkward in photos too. So we had to give them a shout out though, because they hook us up all year.
Man, it worked out well. Those are great looking photos. I mean, outside of the awkward burger size in your hand, but outside of that, it looked pretty good, man.
No, it's good stuff, man. It's a lot, like I said, my favorite part of the job is going to work and getting to throw a nice suit on. So I don't mind at all.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Luke Gazdic is with us, Mitsoff Podcast, and of course it's Sportsnet. He was on the panel last night. So you had to break down that game in game. We had a chance to break it down after the game and the post game last night, and then again here this morning. The previous game they had the 2-0 lead and let it slip away. This game they give up a 2-0 lead with 2 bottom 6 goals from Carolina, and then it just continues to slip away from there. What did you not see from the Oilers last night, Luke?
Yeah, I talked about it a lot last night, but urgency, man. Honestly, it's the whole defensive side of their game and the no urgency that's there. I mean, playing defense is hard work. Playing in your own zone is hard work, and it's a choice to play defense. And it just, to me, it looks like they're making a choice not to do that right now. I mean, playing in the offensive zone is fun, right? You can just rip around. I think give them credit. They didn't give up in the third period. They were ripping around, but I think that's the most frustrating part, especially about analyzing it in game, is there's like a shift here, a shift there. Sometimes they start well, like in Tampa, and it's like they just can't put this together for a full 60. And that's the most frustrating part for me, is you see flashes with this team and you're like, oh, there they are. Like, that's the team we know, right? Like playing fast and driving the net and cycling. And you're like, all right, here we go. Things are turning. And then it's like 4 shifts off, or it's like a full period off. And there's just no urgency in any of their defensive game. It just truly doesn't look like a team that knows, if things continue the way they are, like, you guys are in serious trouble. And it doesn't look like they're understanding that right now.
Which is baffling, right? Like, how can they not understand that? It's that, like, we said, you tried to shock the group by sending down Jack Campbell. Then you tried to shock the group by firing the head coach. The fact that you laid it out, and I completely 100% agree with you, their lack of urgency to, like, identify the situation that they're in, I just don't understand how that can't be there. Where does that lack of urgency come from, Luke? Like,
it's the most baffling thing to me when I watch a game like last night, where I know I don't love saying must wins, but every game from now in is a must win, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just so frustrating to have to break down and analyze a game where you're just screaming at the TV the whole time to do something. And I think they had not even double-digit hits. I think they had 9 hits last night. And listen, I'm not like this old man screaming at the TV, but those are battles and stuff like that. Like, you just see lost battles all over the ice. And, urgency is a mental thing. It's not that much of a physical thing. It's knowing you're going to win your one-on-ones and playing hard, and you just don't see it anywhere on the ice.
I guess, Luke, the question would be, too, and we've been talking about shocks all morning. I mean, Campbell sent down, shock to the dressing room. Woodcroft fired, shock to the dress. Chris chimes in, 780-218-9999. Shock this team. Time to call time of death, more like it. Are you more on that boat? Like, how many more shocks are there yet to give? And if you were giving the shocks, I mean, what's the next one to drop, I guess would be the question.
Yeah, I really thought they would get more out of the new coach bump, just because I've been through that before, and that really jolts a team, especially because everyone starts from square one. Everyone has this kind of blank slate where you want to gain trust with your new coach. And yeah, it was there for a couple games, but it's clearly disappeared. The next shock for me is the thing that I've seen work in the past is a trade.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about this a lot, but a trade can really send something through your dressing room, something that, kind of wakes the boys up. And I don't know if that's trading, an important part of your team, or bringing in, like, we need a goaltender here, right?
Yeah.
Like, we need someone that's going to stop the puck. Like, guys, when's the last time I rarely have gone at goalies, especially on this team with you guys, but I mean, when's the last time we said that, if we didn't have so-and-so in net, we probably wouldn't have won tonight? Like, maybe the Islanders game, Skins played well, but he didn't have to be out.
Maybe the Islanders game.
Maybe. But the last time we were like, wow, if we didn't have our buddy in net, like we would have been in one. And it's just like, I know the defense and all these things, people are like, well, he didn't even have a chance on that. Well, man, sometimes your goaltender needs to bail you out in situations like that, right? Like even if the defense, if one guy misses his check and the next guy misses his assignment, sometimes you need your goaltender to make a huge save and bail your team out. And I just don't feel like we're getting enough of that. So maybe the jolt for me is go overpay for a goaltender. Why not? Like do what you have to do to bring someone in here that can ride with Skinny and give him some time off when he needs, or bring someone in here who can literally steal some games for this team.
Stealing a few points would be, I mean, you would not be in the situation, at least if you had 4 to 6 more, right? And you're right, it doesn't have to be constant, but the odd night or the odd moment, it'd go a long way in getting, 2, 4, even 6 more points in this situation.
100%. And I mean, I try to find specific examples. I don't know if you guys remember way back in the day, Ben Scrivens had a 56 save shutout against the Sharks at Rexall one night.
Yeah.
And like, I just remember that as an example because we had no business being in that game. And I just remember thinking like, wow, that was a goalie literally saving the game for us. And like I said, it's just, you just don't see enough of that where it's our goaltending who's doing the, doing the stunning. So that's the frustrating thing for me. I get it that the boys are hanging them out to dry most of these times. You see, like, I think it was the third goal, like 4 guys missed assignments below the goal line.
Yeah, and then Teravainen has a tap in there. Yeah, it's like
Teravainen has the tap in, and like the Natchez goal too, where he's just standing in front of the net, and there's 5 guys looking in different directions. I mean, it's tough to watch.
Well, I think because we've been asking people today, like Eric said, like if you're Jeff Jackson, what do you do next year? And I'm not even 100% sure it would work because, as you mentioned, they do hang these guys out to dry a little bit. But that might be the last gasp effort. Trade for a goalie and see if solid goaltending can solidify this group. And then, like, how much confidence? How does an overall team's confidence get impacted by a goaltender? Like last night, the fourth one, that they'd already hung him out to dry, a couple unlucky bounces on the first 3. But the fourth one is one that he's got to stop, right? And then at that point, you're like, okay, well, kind of dead now. Like, how much of a team's overall confidence comes from knowing that they've got a goaltender behind them that can bail them out once in a while?
It's everything, man. Honestly, if you have a guy going into the game knowing that if you score 3 or 4, you're going to win that night, like 100%. If you have a Thatcher Demko and you don't even have to play that well, that he's probably going to help you out, it is everything. And that's why I'm thinking of going in that direction, not just for the confidence that it's going to bring, but the energy and the boost that I think it'll give the locker room just in bringing in some new blood and just saying, or at least shows the boys, hey, we're not giving up on you.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're going to show some faith in you guys here too. And we're going to help you out. I think that's the biggest thing is like, they need some help. And I think that sends a clear message to the team that we are not giving up on this year. We are going to help you. And I think
that's an interesting way to look at it, man. That's an interesting way to look at it because, I mean, it could very easily – the entire city's given up on him at this point. For the team to actually go, here's the goalie. We still believe in you. Go get it. Maybe that does – maybe that gets them choosing to defend, like you mentioned. Because I do want to – you brought up the 5th goal, and we were breaking it down in the first hour of the show today. Like McDavid and Draisaitl were combined -7 in the game last night, which is not a good look. And they're both right there watching Natchez or not looking maybe to where they're supposed to be looking. That's an all-time, like people have been all over it today. They're like, that's a Pee-wee hockey breakdown. Like, how does he end up right in the middle of 4 Oilers? I guess there's another guy up high, but 4 Oilers and nobody's even within a stick's length of them. Like, how's that happen?
I honestly think everyone's just overthinking at this point. There's so many forced plays. We call them hope plays. And that on the defensive side is just puck watching, right? That's just simple decisions you can make to be a little smarter in your own end. But I go back to even like a play where Ekholm makes a great step up into the rush and decides not to shoot. And that's, for me, is like, he's a guy, how many times have you seen him go down, winds up and just fires a clapper? And I think it's just a classic case of guys are really overthinking this. And I kind of want to amplify what Noblock said after, is simplify. And at the time when he said it, I was like, not really on the same page as him. But then I start watching highlights and I start, seeing clips, and I'm like, honestly, just simplify, come back in the zone, stop and sort out. That is day one defensive hockey. Come back into the house, stop, see what's happening, and go from there. And just forcing plays all over the ice. Like I said, man, it's extremely frustrating to watch because they can do it, right? Like, they have it in them. They're just not executing.
Luke Gazdic with us on the show this morning. Up next for the Oilers, they wrap up this road trip, which has been 0-3 so far. They only have 5 wins this year. 2 were against Seattle. 1 was against the Islanders. 1 is against Nashville. 1 was against Calgary. So they have not beaten a good team yet this year. The Washington Capitals are very interesting because they really don't allow too much. In fact, what they win last night, 4-3, they don't allow 3 goals very often. They have 1 regulation loss, I think, in their last 10.
5 straight.
So this is not easy. They've won 5 in a row. What can you tell us about the Washington Capitals, and what could the challenges be here for the Oilers tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, team that I don't want to say overachieving, but let's call them that. I did not expect them to be at this point during the year. I'll give a lot of credit to head coach Spencer Carberry, who's come in, and it took a little bit of time for him to instill some systems in their game. But hey, Dylan Strome's playing some good hockey, leading the charge and playing first line center. And I look at the Oilers coming into this building. I think Nuge said it perfectly yesterday, and this is why I love Nuge, is taking it one day at a time. He even mentioned we got to have a good skate tomorrow and then go win a game on Friday. Just take this thing one day at a time. They'll watch some Washington tape, break it down, but they need to win badly in the worst way Friday. Go get a good rip around. I'll be covering that game on Friday from the studio. So hopefully we have some good news after that one, but the Caps aren't going to give them anything easy here. They're pretty tight checking. Carberry has those guys going and playing the right way. So it's not going to be an easy 2 points.
A stingy group. They're going to have to work hard for this one against Washington. Luke, I'm sure you've got a photo shoot that you need to get to somewhere. So we will let you go and we'll catch up next week, buddy.
Love those hands.
Thanks, boys. I'll see you next week.
There you go. It's Luke Gazdic, rising star with Sportsnet. Does some great work with the Mid-South podcast as well. Brought to you by our partners over at Pro-Am Sports. And we're going to have a contest going online and actually in the inbox all day tomorrow. And we'll launch it online a little bit later on today. But they've got a huge sale coming up on Saturday. I would schedule part of your day on Saturday if you like taking advantage of good deals. And people love good deals, do they not? Like
$9.99 tonight, smoked brisket cheesesteak,
exactly.
Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. That's the eating deal, but this deal, I mean,
my wife is a sale hunter, right? Like,
oh yeah,
I'm always just like, oh, I need it now. I mean, you're kind of irresponsible with the hunting for a deal, right? But she would get this for sure, and I'm sure this is how most people operate. But when Pro-Am's laying out a sale from 11 to 4 on Saturday, where you're going to go in and get insane deals on everything in store, I know there's people who are going to be like popping by and loading up.
Well,
because
this is hunting season for your wife. Like there's blood in the water.
Oh,
like,
well, for everybody who's getting ready for Christmas.
Sales and deals all year round for certain things. But you're right. End of November now. Like this is a time when your wife this is time to shine. Like this is what they gear up for all year. The planning, the prep.
If you have a sports fan in your life, an Oilers fan in your life, or you just want to treat yourself because the deals are going to be sick, it's the biggest sale of the year at Pro-Am. Oilers jerseys, headwear, apparel, NFL jerseys, headwear and apparel, MLB headwear and apparel, autographed frames and memorabilia, autographed jerseys on sale. I think this is one of the biggest sales they've done in a long time. In-store only. 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. this Saturday, the 25th, and I might even.
Something?
I might pop in.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, I might pop.
I'll see you there. I meant to go last weekend, to be honest with you, my little bachelor weekend, but I didn't make it out. But this weekend, that's
yeah,
just
no, that's a real nice deal there. And we're gonna have a back seat from the old Coliseum to give away. A seat back, I should say, that is signed by Kevin Lowe, Paul Coffey, Glenn Anderson, Mark Messier, Grant Fuhr, Craig McTavish, Kelly Buckberger, Lumley, McClellan, Krushelniski, Billy Ranford, Andy Moog. We're going to be giving that away. Watch online for all the details on that contest. Tomorrow, it'll be in the today we'll have the details on the contest, but it'll continue into tomorrow with text contest as well. But make plans. I mean, if you want to do all your Christmas shopping in one place in one day and then not have to stress for the next month, do it at Pro-Am from 11 to 4 on Saturday. It was the one thing that Gazdic said that this is why I'm kind of hesitant to just lay it all on goaltending. Mind you, I do agree.
Not all.
Yeah, I do agree with Luke that the only play here, well, with that being said, we thought sending down Jack Campbell would make them play guilty and shock the system. Oh. We thought changing the coach would make them play guilty and shock the system.
Did you think that, or was that the hope? Like, that was the intended hope with the move. Did you actually think, though, that would shock the system, sending a guy down?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I didn't think the coaching change would do much either. But, like, maybe the last-ditch effort here is to make a significant trade for a goaltender. I don't know how you get it. There's no team in the National Hockey League that's going to be like, you know what I'm going to give you? Ken Holland, Jeff Jackson, Paul Coffey, whoever calls. I'm going to give you a real good deal.
Well, this is the thing.
Like, that's not happening. You're getting absolutely bent over on a deal here for a goaltender.
When Luke said, and credit to Luke, but when he said you might have to go out and overpay for a goaltender, I mean, I could hear the collective wince and moan from Oilers fans around overpaying for a goaltender. How did that work? We all know Kenny can do it. I mean,
we're talking overpaying a trade as opposed to just overpaying free agency.
Well, sure, but you know what I'm saying here. Like, it's what are we talking about in terms of value? And you mentioned it. I mean, you go to a market here, and everybody knows that Kenny's ripe for a spanking, and it's like, so. But again, what do you do? Your hands are tied, and that's it. Yeah, it is a very scary proposition. But
no, but the thing that Gazdic said, which is why I came back around to. I don't know if a goalie fixes it. It's right what Gaz said right off the top. This is why he's really good at what he does, and he's going to be, I think, a fixture for a long time in covering hockey in this country, is defending is a choice. And they are choosing to not defend right now. That was the quote. I tweeted it out right after, so I have it here. It's a choice to play defense. And to me, they aren't making that choice right now. That's what Gazdic just came on and said, and he's 100% correct. Like, a National Hockey League team, if they are coached to defend properly, which I don't know why 4 coaches now would not have made them defend properly, if they're committed to the defensive side of the game, you can defend. It's hard work, but it's not hard to do. You know what I mean? Like,
well, then get rid of them. Like that, we talked about, what is it, an unwillingness or an inability? And at this stage, it's an unwillingness, right? They have the ability, you would argue. They're all professionals. They're at this stage.
Can you skate well, and can you go work hard and cover this guy?
Well,
you should be able to.
But is the willingness there? And if the willingness isn't there from however many coaches you just, I mean.
Their entire instinct of hockey is on the offensive side of the game. It just is. Like, why would McDavid and Draisaitl not slide down and cover Natchez, who's wide open in front of the net, when they see Kulak's tied up with heading towards covering the guy with the puck? Like, why then? Because they're probably waiting to hope like the puck pops out and they can go the other way. It's just that has to stop. It has to stop. It's been this way forever. It's like last year they didn't defend well. They got stretches of decent goaltending, and they would always just outscore their issues. If you're not going to be able to outscore your issues, you're never going to be able to win with this team because, as Gazdic said, it is a choice to play defense, and they are not making that choice right now. All you have to do is be willing to get back. What game was it against? I'm trying to think. I think it was maybe the Islanders game, and they won it. The Oilers won it. Maybe it was the Canucks game. It was the third Canucks game. There was a moment where the Oilers had the puck in the offensive zone, and it might have been a little bit of a scramble. I'm sure the Canucks don't draw it up this way. But the Canucks had, like, all 5 of their players right in front of the net, like in the crease, and all 5 of them were, like, willing to put their bodies in front of that puck. And I can't remember the last time I saw like the Oilers collapse to the front of the net and as a group just do like everything they could possibly do to keep a puck out of their goal. Like it's just.
Well, and the graphic on the 5th goal, I think, sums it all up. And that's as you say, it's happened from way back when and up till present day last night.
The Oilers have to be, if not the easiest team in the league to play against, one of the easiest teams to play against. Like, as long as McDavid and Draisaitl aren't torturing you shift after shift after shift after shift, tell me another reason why it's hard to play the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, I think teams are coming around, too, as to how to handle McDavid and Draisaitl torching you shift after shift, right? I mean, the time has moved forward now where teams now have a beat on you. They have a beat on your power play, too, and how you set things up there. And so, yes, when that's not clicking, everything else gets exposed, and here we are. I would say goaltending, though, and I still maintain, if you had a guy in there that was capable of goalieing the other team for at least a couple of games at this stage, you would be near that top of the wild card group and in that hunt for a spot instead of 10 points off the race, which, again, not overall the picture here. It's not the issue, but it's part of a myriad of issues facing this team right now.
I'm trying to think, outside of the offensive threat of McDavid and Draisaitl, why would you ever be intimidated to play the Edmonton Oilers? Because somebody in their bottom 6 is going to come hit you when they dump the puck in? They don't dump the puck in. They constantly try to skate the puck in. I know Nuge last night in postgame said, you get pucks in behind their defense and turn them around. They don't do that. The Oilers don't flip pucks down and make the defenseman turn and go crashing in and try to blow them up. Like, that doesn't happen ever. It would be an easy game against the Edmonton Oilers. Nobody's ever playing the Oilers and after the game having a bunch of ice bags on themselves. Like, that just does not happen. As for the trading of the core, I see people texting in going, well, here's the core. So who are you going to trade? McDavid, you're not trading him, plus no movement clause. Draisaitl, you're not trading him. He has no movement clause. Probably. You can't trade your best players mid-season. It's not going to work. It's never worked. Zach Hyman, no movement clause. Evander Kane, no movement clause. Nuge, no movement clause. Nurse, no movement clause. Your entire core dictates what you do. So you can't
weird that we've gotten to this point. Hey,
you can't.
You don't have any real.
You have no say.
Flexibility to.
You have no say in this without getting their approval. So even that's a non-starter. So the guys who don't have no movement clauses: Fogle, McLeod, Yamark, Ryan, Hamblin, Brown, Ernie, Gagne. Literally, not one of those guys would be wanted by another organization.
But if you package them all up,
I just
with one of those seats from Pro-Am.
Not a single player up front that doesn't have a no movement clause would be in any way intriguing to any other NHL team. And then on the back end, you've got, like I said, Nurse has no movement clause. You can't trade Ekholm. You just got Ekholm, and he's supposed to be the most stabilizing force you have back there. So then you've got CC, Kulak, Broberg, Desharnais, and Evan Bouchard.
Aha.
And
somebody says that the text side, I'll say it again, trade Bouchard, 780-218-9999.
Be very interested to see what the value would be on Bouchard. We've never really had that discussion of like what the value would be on Bouchard. But if you were like a team that had 5 very reliable defensemen, and you're like, you know what, we can protect Bouchard, and we really need a boost on the power play. Like maybe there'd be some sort of interest level there. But yeah, they logistically can't blow up the core because the core controls everything that happens. So toss that out the window because that's not happening either. All right, let's get to your Coolbet hotline of the day. And Mr. Erect is back in the building. We actually hit our Coolbet hotline of the day yesterday after all the Bouchard slander. Yeah. I was like, hey, Bouchard, point, please. And Bouchard got a point to get. I mean, he's an offensive-minded defenseman, and we can get those guys at minus 125 for a point. Usually works out to be a good thing. Mr. Lean, what are you leaning on today, my friend? What's going on, buddy? What do you got? Got to be some NFL action that you're in on here, I would think.
Well, there's nothing else really going on, is there?
Is there nothing else in the world of sports today?
No,
not even soccer overseas
NBA,
or anything?
Everyone just lets it be for the NHL today.
The NFL. Yeah.
Or the NFL today. So I'll go to the second game, Cowboys-Commanders. It's a big spread, 13.5 points.
Man, that was 12.5 yesterday.
It's gone up to 13.5.
Yeah.
The last time the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving beat a team by that many points, 2008. Been a long time since they won a football
guy's
game
on the
and
Commanders.
covered. They had that win of over 14 points. So I'm not going to pick the Commanders to win, even though it's plus 600. But to cover that spread, 13.5 points, I would lean that way. No question about it.
Huss and I yesterday moved that line to 14.5 and put it into our parlay. We've got that open right now. If you go to the exclusives page at Coolbet, coolbet.com, you should find, there it is, the lock shop. Oh, it's not popping up on my Wi-Fi right now, but it's up. And we moved some lines around. So we've got the Lions minus 6.5. That spread's now at 8.5. It was at 7.5 yesterday. So that's moved. The Cowboys were at 12.5. We took it to 14.5 for the Commanders.
13.5 is minus 109. 14.5 is minus 122. If you take it to minus 16, it's minus 139.
My cool bet hotline of the day, and I guess the boys can throw these together. Maybe we come up with something for the third game. Take a look at the third game, Maddie, and see, because what we'll do here is we'll go cool bet hotline of the day is a Monra St. Brown touchdown. You can get that, I think, at plus 110 right now. That'll be my cool bet hotline of the day. Let me just double check on that number. Player touchdowns in the first game today. Yeah, plus 110. Plus 110 for Monra St. Brown touchdown. It's going to be tough to turn around a little three-gamer here so quickly because that first game does start at 10:30. So you know what? That'll be the cool bet hotline of the day. Maddie, you're on the Commanders here, plus 13.5. And maybe we put the Commanders with something from the late game, give people some time to get on this. Any thoughts on anything from that Niners-Seahawks game?
Or do we save that a little bit and see what happens with the Pick'em challenge?
Ooh. Okay. All right, we can wait on that. All right, so cool bet hotline of the day. I'm on St. Brown, touchdown plus 110. And Mr. Lean is on the Commanders, plus 13.5 against the Dallas Cowboys. Let's get to a sports update for Park Mazda. When we come back, more of your thoughts on the Edmonton Oilers. And then Ian Rapoport, Rap Sheet, is going to join us to set up these three games in the National Football League. And, we'll see what Lieutenant Eric's thinking with our Thursday night football challenge here between the Seahawks and the Niners. That'll be a chance for you to get a gift certificate to our great partners over at the casino on Fort Road, Century Casino in the Sports Bar and Lounge. Sports update for Park Mazda with LT.
Oilers dropping their third straight game on the road, 6-3 to the Hurricanes. Zach Hyman with a pair of goals for Edmonton. They find themselves with a record of 5-12-1. That road trip will wrap up tomorrow afternoon in D.C. against the Capitals. Other action last night, Vegas over Dallas 2-1. Habs edging Anaheim 4-3. Kraken all over the Sharks 7-1. Avs top the Canucks 5-2. And the Preds double up the Flames 4-2. Oil Kings with a 5-3 loss to the Wheat Kings from Rogers Place. Oil Kings will host the Regina Pats tomorrow night and visit the Hitmen on Saturday evening. NFL Week 12 action begins at 10:30 this morning. Lions hosting the Packers. The afternoon game features the Commanders visiting the Cowboys. And you can join me tonight at the Century Casino Sports Bar Lounge when the Seahawks welcome in the 49ers. $9.99 smoked brisket cheesesteak on special, as well as a free square board with prizes on the line. The Century Casino Sports Bar Lounge at Century Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. And the Toronto Raptors clipping the Pacers 132-131. Toronto improving to 7-8. That's good for 10th in the NBA's East. The Raptors will host the Bulls in group stage action from the in-season tournament tomorrow night. Sports update for the brilliant staff at Park Mazda and their fearless leader Mitch Lewicki, who really enjoyed himself yesterday at the Alouettes Grey Cup Parade.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki in a tuxedo t-shirt because it says, he wants to be formal, but he's also here to party too.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
I've got something under my skin, and the itch won't go away. It's my original sin, the poison that I crave. Come along for the ride, I'd make you feel better. Cut the rope that I tied, but then I broke my skin again. You got me fiending for until the night die, just to feel you in my veins.
That is your Edmonton Sports Talk house band, Whale and the Wolf, which ties in nicely to our promo for the Hangout today. Maddie, who's going to be in on the Hangout today, man?
Lucas Holt, basis for Whale and the Wolf, will be by.
Love it.
Along with him will be Corey Graham, formerly of 1260.
CG
now with
in
the
the house.
one.
CG.
But CG will be in the house. And
He
Tommy.
is the co-host of my favorite podcast, the MCTV podcast. They are just breaking down the final episode of Loki.
You're going to be nerding out when CG enters, eh? Like,
Oh my God, you guys. Corey Graham from the MCTV podcast.
Can I ask you one more question?
Is here in the building. It's like when Majot was here. I mean, I listen to I've listened to
Big
every
fan.
podcast those guys have ever done.
Don't know who's going to come in first between Lucas and Corey and Tommy.
Oh.
Tommy also, as him and DVD were leaving BP's yesterday, said,
No.
Let's go to
drink
Kelly's.
downtown.
Oh.
So we'll see when Tommy does show up.
Well, so Tommy tries to claim last night. We're talking about this. We're like, what's the order of these guys arriving today? And I said, it'll be Lucas, then it'll be CG, and then it'll be Tommy. And Tommy's like, I was in early today. I said, what are you talking about? Like, you got in after Dave Jameson. You came in, like, together, basically.
Yeah, the guest.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I was in at, like, 8:20. I was like, you were not in at 8:20 yesterday, like today,
check
whatever
the
it
clock.
was yesterday morning. Because, Maddie, when did you get in at, like, 8:20?
It was
Tommy
about 8:20.
rolled in at, like, 8:45,
It was 8:40.
8:50.
It was 8:40. Him and Jay. He came in a little earlier, but it was 8:40.
A little earlier.
For him. It was 8:40. But he also was saying he'd be like 8:30 today. That's what he did throw out there.
There's zero chance Tommy Gazzola, especially when he gives DVD the drink downtown.
No, it was DVD to him.
Oh, no. Oh, we got to talk to DVD. You
Bad
can't influence Tommy
influence,
like that.
bad
What did
influence.
Tommy say? No? Anyway, if you work downtown, if you could walk by Kelly's Pub and knock on the window and wake Tommy up and tell him to come into work today, that'd be
They
great.
threw a few name places out there, so it might have not officially been Kelly's.
Bit of a crawl, maybe, hey?
Yeah, man. Oh, Tommy Gazzola, what a guy.
Let the games begin, though. Get in your bets right now. 780-218-9999.
I'm setting the over-under, Tommy, today at 8:48. I think it's going to be an 8:48 type of day.
Pick the time and pick the order for the three contestants, right? Lucas, Corey,
Lucas,
and
I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
Yeah.
Lucas, Corey,
He's very
Tommy.
eager, yeah.
I'm just saying Tommy's probably around 8:48.
This is like taking Carson bets at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. You can do that tonight. Join me, Centric Casino Fort Road, where we bet on a time that an individual shows up to the casino. It's rather
He
fun.
doesn't show up tonight.
Doesn't show up tonight?
No.
Loves the square board. We got the square board
Who's
going.
this?
Does he?
Carson.
He loves
Carson,
it. He
yeah.
loves the
He
square
doesn't
board.
gamble. He reads romance novels, James Patterson, but he loves the square board. And he
You
writes
think he's
going to
show up just for the square
That's
board?
what he's been doing, and he rolls in around. It's 12 hours from now. Tommy's the AM Carson, 8:20, 8:30. Carson does the same thing, but at PM.
8:26 apparently is the number.
What do you
Carson?
mean 8:26 for Tommy?
No, for Carson.
Tonight, is that what your bet is?
That's
what
Renee's kind of figured that out.
Yeah,
That's
she's
become her
been-
number.
yeah, she's been
And she
winning a lot.
nailed it last time.
Yeah. Well, I think she's got an inside track with the guy. I think they have the numbers.
I'm Renee. I work at Century Casino. And I think Carson will be in.
We got to get her on the
At
head, too.
8:28.
Well, yes.
I know,
I
it's
forgot.
time
You should talk to her today about
Yeah,
that.
I
Give
will.
her the
I will.
heads
Big
up.
Hangout
Give her the
news?
heads up that I'll have to get her on.
Big Hangout news?
She's itching.
Can we say that now? December
I'm willing
4th?
to say it.
Go ahead. This is great.
Your chief meteorologist,
Your local rap star.
The
the
atmospheric
only
Avenger.
person you trust to giving you the weather, the only person you trust to rap whatever you want,
God.
Josh Clausen will be here December 4th for the Hangout.
What a get.
Text him yesterday. He said, let me double check. Actually, I said, because I asked him a while ago, and he says, let's wait a few months. And then I texted yesterday, interest in the Hangout, and the response I got was, I would love, in all caps, to come on as a guest. And so he
go.
is set
Great
to
work,
go.
Manny.
Let's go.
I'm actually more excited just to show him our place.
Yeah, of course.
I just want Clausen's approval that he's like, you guys are doing well.
He's going to
So-
drop some bars on us, right?
I would, man. That's what the hangout's
I'm
for,
on the
eh?
Hangout, and I'm here to say,
Yeah.
here's your weather forecast for today.
Some of that Napster material.
It's got to be there for me.
I don't know who the Jets play prior.
Was
because
he a
it's a
Jets
Monday.
fan?
Oh yeah,
Oh, that poor bastard.
he predicted them to win the division this year.
Well, in fairness.
But he did lose Aaron Rodgers. He lost Aaron Rodgers.
Jets
Let's
host
give
the
him that.
Falcons on the Sunday.
Jets and the Falcons.
Sunday Eve,
So he could come in a very good mood
You
with a
never
win,
know,
I think,
yeah.
off of that one. So
Or he could be miserable.
Aaron Rodgers tosses 5 touchdowns.
Clausen's never miserable.
No, he's pretty happy, dude.
So
It's a good point. It's a
Yeah.
good point. Anyway, that's exciting. That is exciting. All right, so you can hit us up 780-218-9999 in the Paris Jewelers inbox. Black Friday sale tomorrow, and it's going to be a big one, up to 70% off certain items in store. You can shop, obviously, online at parisjewelers.com as well. One of your texts today will win text of the day. That'll get you a gift certificate to A and Dub. This was a pretty good text that rolled in today. The Oilers, this is a good one. We can do this the rest of the way. Maybe win text today. The Oilers look like blank. Fill it in, because this is a nice way to set the tone here. The Oilers look like a band where the lead singer hates the bassist who slept with the drummer's husband who stole the rhythm guitarist's weed. Like, it's just, like, but they're still going. They're still
Lots
playing.
of issues,
but
not
it's
one
just
anymore.
not hitting
Yeah.
on what it used to be, right? So the Oilers look like blank. Fill it in. 780-218-9999. That's casting a wide net.
You
here,
could
isn't
really
it?
go to some weird and wild
Yeah.
places with this one.
I think you could. Chris says Broberg's last shift of the game was the ugliest I saw all night. Flubbed the puck on the left side and then couldn't keep it in on the right side. Soft and disinterested. Tang goes in and says, at what point do the Oilers start caring? Because from what I can see, the fans care more than the players. Yeah, I think fans almost always care more than players. You know, when things are amazing, fans are just like euphoric. It's just like, oh, it's a Vince McMahon meme, right? It's just like, and then when the team's not playing well, fans get miserable.
the other
That's
Vince
how
McMahon.
fandom works. I was a Detroit Lions fan my entire life. 25 years, 30 years were just awful. I understand where you're coming from, but we threw this out right at the top of the show today. And I heard the boys talking about in the postgame last night when I was driving home, because you can listen on TuneIn, static free. This is by far worse than the Decade of Darkness. By far worse.
Due to the expectation.
It's not even comparable. Nobody during the Decade of Darkness ever said anything about the Oilers being a Stanley Cup contender. We go into those seasons. I can't believe I've been here for that long now in this market. We go into those seasons being like, maybe they can take a step and have a sniff at the playoffs this year. And then it was like, oh, no, they still suck. Change the coach again. Well, now, like, you're supposed to be a Stanley Cup contender, and you're having a worse season than the Decade of Darkness teams, which blows my mind. I don't understand. Somebody legitimately asked in the Nasty Chat today, and I don't even think they were joking. And I'm not throwing shade at him for the question, but this is where we're at. Where they asked the question, they said, Dusty, do you think there's any way they could bring Woodcroft back?
No. Multiple
think he'd
times.
want to?
Multiple times. They said this. It just played
guys,
as well, yeah.
come on.
Hey.
You honestly think, as dysfunctional as this organization has been over the years, you think they would actually go back? First of all, they should have never fired him in the first place. If you thought Jay Woodcroft was the problem here,
you're making a case.
It's just
you're making a case.
Well, no,
How about this? Noblock fires Coffee, brings in Dave Manson. Huh?
That'd be something. What I want to see is like Jeff Jackson call Woody and just pretend like he didn't fire him. Be like, hey man, how come you haven't been around lately? Woody's like, what do you mean? Oh no, we didn't fire you. Just we're bringing in Noblock to help you on the bench. How come you haven't been around?
Yeah.
Well, you should be in. We'll see you tomorrow. Click.
Yeah, totally misunderstood. The Oilers are playing like Lewis on Christmas Vacation, where there's a disaster around him, but he's enjoying his stogie. That's kind of an apt.
That blasted.
Yeah, that goaltending.
Man, that's a tough look. That is a tough look indeed. Keep those reactions rolling in. Obviously, 780-218-9999. The Oilers look like blank. Fill it in. Could be how you win text of the day for A&W. We got a busy day here for our next guest, but he managed to find some time for us, which is awesome. Find him on Twitter, where he has about, 100 million followers. Rap Sheet on Twitter. Ian Rapoport joins us this morning. Rap Sheet, how you doing, buddy? Happy Thanksgiving, man.
What's going on? Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. I guess you don't really celebrate, so maybe I'll take it back.
No, we celebrate by watching 3 football games today.
We get two,
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's always a great day.
Better than that.
Yeah, it's always a great day, especially for me as a long-suffering Detroit Lions fan who's watched his team turn around now, and as of this moment, 8.5-point favorites against the Green Bay Packers. So let's start with that game. And I know the Lions' schedule the rest of the way is a juicy one. Like, they should be able to put together a pretty good second half of the season here. Where do you have the Lions among like the level of certain contenders in the conference?
High. And, I don't know what's going to happen today. My guess is they'll probably win, but, this is the resume they built, and this is the team they've become. And one thing that happens in the NFL is and I guess it happens everywhere, but you judge a team based on kind of who they are and what they've done. And I think we know the Lions. Usually they're not very good, and they kind of are what they are. And we get ready for Thanksgiving, and we're like, all right, are we going to watch, David Blau versus whoever? Like, these are not these Lions. They are tough. They are physical. They're really creative, especially up front on the offensive line, and really good. They got a bunch of playmakers. Jared Goff has been absolutely good enough. They're good. And I think, one thing that's cool that happens on Thanksgiving, and it's sort of the same thing that happens for national spotlight games, but like even more, is the fans who aren't like hardcore football fans get to be introduced to teams, and everyone's going to get introduced to Lions fan, and that's pretty cool.
You just laid out like they're a physical team. They've got a great offensive line. Goff's been there to a Super Bowl before. He's got 2 great running backs. They've got some good offensive weapons. What would the Lions be missing, if anything, do you think? What's an area where I should be concerned as a Lions fan that maybe in the playoffs they just can't get it done?
I mean, the defense is a little suspect, but not a lot suspect. And, there's a chance they get, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back, and I think that will help. Corners good, but not great. I mean, the defensive backfield is okay. I think that's probably the only thing, but it's not a lot of things. They get pass rush up front. A lot of times that can cover up for it. I don't know. Like, they're good. I mean, they don't have experience, but it's like, okay, they played in the opener. They play on Thanksgiving. Like, they played in national spotlight games. It's just not like totally foreign to them. It's totally different. So I don't know. I mean, they look good. And I think one thing that you see is as, coaches get fired and then coaches get hired, people are going to look to the Lions and be like, what did they do? How did they do it right? Like, how can we get our Dan Campbell? A lot of interesting things there to be had.
It's funny you mentioned how do we get our Dan Campbell, because how much of this is just Dan Campbell and the culture that he's created? I mean, because he comes in and people look at him as a bit of a crazy man, but now I think a lot of teams would go, damn, man, I want a guy like Dan Campbell. So how much of this is just Dan Campbell putting his footprint on the organization?
I would say some, but not all.
Okay.
Because he is a good leader, and I think players like to play for him. And, the culture of, like, working hard, playing hard, celebrating hard, trying to do the right things, having a feel-good feeling in the locker room, it's all good. And it's sort of empowering the players, and I like it. But you have to be talented. And I think up front they're really talented. They got some really good weapons, 2 good receiver weapons. They got 2 good running backs, drafted one this year with Jahmyr Gibbs. The high-end players they've drafted, Hutchinson would be one. They've really performed and been good. So, like, what Dan Campbell has done is good, but you've got to have talent, and they definitely do have talent.
Ian Rapoport joining us from the NFL Network, our NFL insider for today. And yes, Ian, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Kind of going down the schedule for today and this afternoon from Dallas Cowboys 7-3 at home to the 4-7 Commanders. I know you had a little bit of a piece on Ron Rivera right now. It's Cowboys huge favorites, as they should be, with the eyes of the nation on an afternoon Thanksgiving game. Is this perhaps nearing the end of Ron Rivera, or how hot is that seat there in Washington for him?
Well, I think the hope is that the owner, Josh Harris, would evaluate at the end of the year. That was the plan going in. Rivera is one of the more respected coaches. You want to make sure to treat him the right way, and that is the idea. What you don't know is has the on-field product changed the evaluation? In other words, has the on-field product changed the plans? Like last week was troubling. Last week was very troubling. And I would say, you know, if something like that happens again, or if there's a really ugly loss, then, you know, there is a chance it gets ugly. And I hope not, but certainly that is a chance. And I think they'd like to treat them the right way, but you'd like to see some progress on the field doing it. So, you know, it's a little bit in limbo. I think everyone knows the new owner a lot of times come in and you want your own people.
Yep.
Ron Rivera is so respected. You know, I thought it might transcend that, but, you know, there's been some troubling signs in the fact that they traded, you know, some of their stars, their pass rushers like that. You know, I would say that has made it a little more difficult, and that is not lost on me as well.
Well, it's interesting with Dallas because they've got 7 wins this year, and I was diving into this in one of our other shows yesterday. They've got 7 wins this year. 6 of them have been by 20 or more, and it's not like they played a ton of great teams. But the Dallas Cowboys,
Right.
when they're on, they do look pretty darn good, don't they?
They do. You know, I think there's a couple teams this year who like look really good and look really good when they're playing a not great opponent.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys are one of them. And, you know, I don't know how good they are, but like, you know, and there's nothing going to be answered if they win today. Let's say they have a 10-point win today. Well, then it's like, did we learn anything? Like they're supposed to win, kind of cruise control win. Like I'm not sure if this Cowboys team we're really going to learn anything until the playoffs. That's kind of where it's at. Like that's where they're rolling. It's good. They're going to be tested. They're going to be challenged, and then we'll find out about them. And it sucks, but like when you're one of those really good teams, it's not like do you make the playoffs. It's like do you make the playoffs in advance and go really deep, and do they get to the NFC title game? I'm like, there's all that. So I think that's what the Cowboys will eventually be judged by.
San Francisco 49ers and Seattle Seahawks will wrap up the triple header today. Safe to say the Niners are back on track, and were you ever really worried about them?
I kind of was worried.
Yeah.
Being totally honest. I had some thoughts, and like, you know, because teams have their own trajectory, and I thought they were real good, and then seemed to go the wrong way, and they seemed to fall off, and then Brock Purdy was not himself, and then he got hurt, and then Debo got hurt, and sort of like it could steamroll. Well, they seem to have righted themselves properly. Like, they look good. They look really talented. I'm sure we're going to see it tonight. I think Seattle has to play perfect, literally perfect tonight to win. It is possible, but, you know, they're going to have to be as good as they get. And I'm looking forward to that one as well. Hopefully I'm not in sleep coma by the time.
Well, it's tough. This is a long day for Americans, man. When you mix in a meal, it's going to be tough. And we'll talk about that in 1 second. Just quickly on the Seahawks side of things, like, where's that team at right now at this point in the season?
They're good. They're a regular good team.
Okay.
And I think for Seattle, which, you know, traded Russell Wilson, and that always triggers a rebuild. They kind of didn't rebuild. They just did. They made the playoffs last year, and they're still good this year. They don't quite have their quarterback of the future. And Gino's been good, but maybe not great. But they're good. And they run the heck out of the ball, and they play defense, and they are tough, and they get takeaways, and they are good. What I don't know is, are they the team that's going to get into the playoffs and make a run? Are they going to win 2 games to get to the title game? But, you know, if this is their rebuild and their kind of reboot, that is a pretty decent place to be. I like where Seattle is in the trajectory.
Do you guys do the turkey and the ham for Thanksgiving, or you just do one meat?
Well, yes and no. We do 2 meats. Okay. This year, we're doing a big turkey. My dad is smoking.
Ooh.
And then we are making a beef tenderloin.
Whoa.
Which we are roasting.
Hello.
Whoa, where's the invite? What's your address, man? I'm coming down. Like, God, that's
I
real
think
nice.
My parents are a little nervous because, yeah, it is a beautiful looking tenderloin. I think my parents are a little nervous because it's going to upstage a turkey, to which I would say too bad.
Oh, so are you in charge of the tenderloin?
Yeah. Oh
boy.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm in charge. That's my thing. I'm a tenderloin guy.
Okay, so how do you prep that? How do you get it ready?
I'll just say there's plenty of spices involved. There's also some twine, and there's some oven. Now, I'm a little upset I can't make it in the smoker, but it is what it is. So we will be roasting it probably about 40 minutes or so. Get it to nice medium rare. Get some horseradish sauce, essentially.
Okay.
And go from there.
So you can't use the smoker because your dad's using the smoker for the turkey?
No, we can't use a smoker because my wife said that people don't do it in the smoker. To which I was like, I disagree, but you know what? We're good.
Yeah, man. Enjoy the day. Triple header. You can't complain about that. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, man. We'll talk next week.
Awesome. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Take care.
That's Ian Rapoport. Man, turkey and tenderloin for a Thanksgiving meal. Are you kidding me?
Mouth is watering.
Woo!
The spices.
There's nothing better than a perfectly done tenderloin, man. Like
medium rare.
And I love the turkey. I love the turkey. That would be.
The only thing better, though, is a $9.99 smoked brisket cheesesteak tonight. Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge.
That's right up there.
Century Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. We'll be doing they got the whole swack of games today. 10:30 Packers Lions. You got the afternoon one Commanders Cowboys. And you can join me tonight. Seahawks 49ers should be a hell of a game. And once again, $9.99 for a smoked brisket cheesesteak. You choose the sides. You can have gravy. Plus, you get a deal on a beer or a highball with the purchase of that meal and a free scoreboard. I know the Pro-Am deal on Saturday is great. This is a great American Thanksgiving Thursday night deal. $9.99 smoked brisket cheesesteak, Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Fort Road.
That was a great promo you just cut. Let's get into our Thursday Night Football Challenge.
For the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Century Casino Fort Road. Take it away.
All right, so we'll be playing with the third game of the day. That's the one that Eric's going to be there for. The Niners and the Seahawks. The Seahawks are 7.5-point home dogs against the Niners. You heard Rap Sheet there say that he was a great chat with Ian Rapoport today. But you heard he was a little bit worried about the Niners, but they're kind of coming out of it. And he said that the Seahawks are kind of just one of those good teams. Like, they're not a great team. They're just sort of a good team.
They're killing time here.
7.5 is it's a pretty good size number. And then you can find these obviously all over at Coolbet, where the Lions currently have the Lions minus 8.5-point favorites at home. The Cowboys 13.5-point favorites at home, and the Seahawks 7.5-point dogs. If you like the Seahawks plus 7.5 points today, text Seahawks to 780-218-9999. If you like the Niners minus the 7.5 points, you can text Niners to 780-218-9999. Lieutenant Eric, which side of this are you going to be on here, buddy?
Give me the home dog.
You take the Seahawks plus the
7.5. The home hawk dog, the Seahawk dog.
All right. So there we go. So, Jake, if you're listening over at Coolbet, you can take Mr. Leans plus 13.5 and toss it in with the Seahawks plus 7.5. And we can do that for a little EST afternoon Thanksgiving parlay. Well, that's a pick from each of you guys. Let me dive in here. Let me see if we got some player props up here. Give me some player props in the Dallas Cowboys game. Player receiving yards. CeeDee Lamb's at 90. What's his receptions at? 6.5. I'm kind of torn on that one. TD score. Let's see. Yeah, let's throw a CeeDee Lamb TD in there anyway. So let's do that. We'll go Cowboys get a CeeDee Lamb touchdown minus 149. Commanders plus 13.5.
Home dog.
The
home Seahawk dog.
Seahawks. Jake, let us know if you got that. Seahawks plus 7.5. Commanders plus 13.5.
And one Cowboy jumping into
CeeDee
the
Lamb
Salvation Army
touchdown.
pale, or whatever.
That's how it usually works, right? All right, so there you go. You can play along if you like the Seahawks plus 7.5. Text that in. If you like the Niners minus 7.5, text that in. Everybody who gets it correct will go into a draw. We will draw tomorrow morning, and you will win a gift certificate to Century Casino. Lots of good text messages on the Oilers look like blank. Let me run you through a couple of these, and then we'll get to a sports update. We'll play a little kind of easy trivia, 3 questions too many. We have to determine the draft order for the Saturday Night Live draft, and what do we have beef with? I'm saving I got beef for after we determine this draft order, because I have a feeling something's going to happen during the determining of the draft order that I will have beef with.
I got beef that we moved the segment from the middle hour to the third because I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah, and we got show meat.
I know.
We got to get some of that jerky from Acme Meats, man. I had some yesterday.
Would you like me to go get it right
Bring
now?
it over. Bring over the show meat, man. The jerky there is just, man, it's so cool having a great relationship with a good meat place, you know? It really is. Here's some of these text messages the Oilers look like. The Oilers look like, this was kind of the one that started it, but the Oilers look like a band where the lead singer hates the bassist who slept with the drummer's husband who stole the rhythm guitarist's weed. The Edmonton Oilers look like one of those expensive paintings that people view, and you know it's worth something, but you're not sure what you're looking at. But everyone tells you it's good and valuable.
It's art.
That's a really good one. The Oilers look like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber when Cam Neely got into the stall with him and he had that faraway look in his eyes, sucking his thumb, and he kept saying, "Take me to a safe place." That one in from Dennis today. That's really good. The Oilers look like my wife when I try to snuggle with her. No effort or interest in playing for a full 60 minutes. That's pretty good, too. The Oilers are like my ex that you used to have feelings for them, but now every time you see them, you just feel frustrated and angry and want to be yelling and screaming. All right, so the Oilers are like blank. Hit us up, 780-218-9999. The painting one is good. The Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber one, really good as well. So keep those rolling in. You could win the text of the day for A and W. Hey, if you would like to play Kind of Easy Trivia today, we've got a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Cheer yourself up with a classic Mike burger. You can't go wrong. They got that new location out in Fort Sask as well. They are in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail, which you just kind of go to Pro-Am on Saturday.
There you go.
Hit up the sale from 11 to 4. Huge sale in-store at Pro-Am Sports on Saturday. And then just continue up the road and go get yourself some Mr. Mike's.
You're wrong. You go to Mr. Mike's first. You load up on the steak bites. You go do a little shopping. Then you go back after the shopping for that Mike burger.
See, I'd rather go in and shop hungry at Pro-Am.
Oh, you're a hungry shopper.
Yeah, go and shop hungry at Pro-Am.
But the sirloin bite will fill up. It'll give you that energy to go
and then go back
for the big meal. Yeah. I mean, you do it.
I mean, that could work too.
Yeah.
If you would like to play Kind of Easy Trivia today to win a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, just text us right now, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Let us know that you would like to play. Mr. Lean will pick one of you, and you will get to play Kind of Easy Trivia coming up. 3 questions too many on the way as well. Draft order for the SNL draft tomorrow. This city needs a draft right now. It's as simple as that. It also needs a watch party with us because one way or the other, I mean, it's going to be great viewing. So we're going to go there and watch along tomorrow on the YouTube channel and the audio stream as well. Let's get to a sports update right now for United Sport and Cycle with Lieutenant Eric.
Oilers dropping another one on the road, their third straight, 6-3 to the Hurricanes. Zach Hyman with a pair of goals. Edmonton now 5-12-1. The road trip will wrap up tomorrow afternoon in D.C. against the Capitals. Oil Kings with a 5-3 loss to the Wheat Kings from Rogers Place. Oil Kings, welcome. I can't. Ribbit.
Show me.
Oil Kings host Regina tomorrow night. They'll visit Calgary Saturday night. Week 12 in the NFL kicks off this morning, 10:30, when the Lions host the Packers. The afternoon game will feature the Cowboys at home to the Commanders. And you can join me tonight at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge when the Seahawks are at home to the 49ers. $9.99 smoked brisket cheesesteak on special throughout the evening and a free square board with prizes on the line. The Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge at Centric Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. This sports update brought to you by United Sport and Cycle, your home of hockey for over 95 years.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.803 with the Nielson Show. The fun rolls on. The Hangout coming up today. Corey Graham going to be in the house, and brother of Eric, Lucas, will be in. Basis for Whale and the Wolf. Huge sports fan.
Oh.
Probably talk a little CFL, right? How about the Montreal Alouettes? How about we're on some show meat here from Acme?
Top drawer.
If you hear us chewing, that would be why.
Top drawer in Montreal yesterday. It brought a tear to my eye.
It was amazing. All I could think of was throw a team in Quebec and give us a Quebec-Montreal rivalry. Can you imagine a Quebec-Montreal rivalry in the Canadian Football League?
With Ottawa just kind of in the middle there.
Ottawa
That's
just sort of lurking around.
Yeah.
That would be.
I'm here for it.
That would be amazing, man. I'd love to see that happen. I think that's what they have to put the focus on next. But all right, let's play a little Kind of Easy Trivia for Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever. Sirloin bites to absolutely die for. And my recommendation is Classic Mike Burger. Matty, who's playing today, buddy?
Big Dave.
Big Dave is going to play, looking for big results. Let's go to Dave this morning. Dave, you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll start the ticker after I read the first question. You know what? You don't sound like a Big Dave. I was expecting Big Dave to have like a big burly voice. Are you a big guy, Dave?
I am a big guy, 6'3", 300 pounds.
Whoa. All right, big boy. All right, here we go. I'll start the ticker after I read the first question. How many goals did the Oilers give up last night?
6.
Who gave up more goals, Skinner or Pickard?
Skinner.
How many NFL games are being played today?
3.
Which city is home to the Commanders?
Washington.
What position does Jared Goff play?
Quarterback.
Boom. You got it.
My name is Julius, and I'm your twin brother. I've been looking forward to this moment my whole life. Excuse me, but I was just taking a shower. Tell me a little bit about Vincent. Was he a great athlete? Was he interested in chess and poetry? My name is Julius. My name is Julius. My name is Julius.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
The Oilers are like Tommy Gazzola, with no urgency to come to work on time.
Hey,
that one in
too soon.
From Taco today.
Somebody asking if Big Dave can play goal.
I saw that in the Nutsy Nielson there.
Can you play net?
The Oilers are like the Edmonton Sports Radio on June 14th, 2023. Start off great, then without notice or reason, turn into depressing elevator music on repeat.
Hey.
The Oilers are like that beautiful-looking burger on the menu that you order, but when you get it, it's a sloppy, half-assed plate of garbage. It's missing the cheese, the bacon is soggy, and the fries look boiled. That comes from Greg in the Grove. This is how you're going to win text of the day today. It's already been, I mean, this is working on like a top 10 for the post show in the Nasty Club a little bit later on today. Keep these rolling in. The Oilers are like blank. Fill it in. Have some fun with it. And, you know, when they turn it around and they're fighting for a wild card spot in April, I'll be looking back on this, laughing like, oh, the darkest of times.
You know what? I'm here for the fight. I'm here for that spring like charge up the wild card. You know, and it's like playoffs starting early.
Well, I mean, every game is essentially a playoff game right now.
We are in the playoffs.
Like
American Thanksgiving, and the playoffs start today.
It sounds ridiculous to say, but you guys, it's the truth. Every single game from here on out should be a playoff style game for the Edmonton Oilers.
But if you're seeing the effort brought to the table last night, doesn't.
Oh, when Luke Gazdic comes on and
playoff
says
effort to me,
they are choosing to not play defense. Defense is a choice, and they don't choose to play defense right now. That's pretty awakening comments from Gazdic this morning. Sports Guys in it says the Oilers are missing the playoffs this season.
It's funny when like fans choose to spend all of their money to go and watch, right? And it's like now you're just waiting for the players to choose when to turn it on, so to speak.
Yeah, show up for your city, man.
Well,
show up for your city.
That's just it, I think.
So it's not very often a team would make the playoffs after being in the situation the Oilers are in right now. And this is not just an Oilers comment that I'm going to make, but if there was a team that you thought was going to be a Stanley Cup contender, I think that team would fit the profile of one of these teams that could overcome the American Thanksgiving deadline and make the playoffs, right? So the top of the Pacific is excellent. The rest of the Pacific is middling. The top of the Central's excellent. The rest of the Central's meh. Can the Oilers, what would you say today? What were the teams that they got to track down? Like, if you don't think the Oilers can play significantly better than the Kraken and the Flames and the Preds and the Coyotes and Ducks down the stretch, I mean, you might as well trade everybody.
Blues, Kraken, and Ducks are your top 3 wild cards right now, and then you got the Coyotes, Flames, Preds, and Wild ahead of the Oilers. So at least those 4 teams, you should think that if your 2 offensive juggernauts get rolling here and drag the rest of it into the mix, that you should be better than those. And then who's to say when you're up near the top of the wild card? But I'm not seeing it. Like, again, when they decide to flick the switch or do whatever they do, I mean, I'll be there for it, but I ain't seeing any of it right now. This is maybe what they are. Like all of these pictures that people are texting, like, oh, the burger on the menu looks so great. But in reality, This is the burger you get, and this is the burger it's always been. And it's the burger you're going to get if you order it 50 times over and over and over again. Fool's gold.
The Oilers are like Tom Gazzola hosting a hunting show. They look the part, but they're covered in piss and have no idea what they're doing.
I love the Bozone.
That's I have a new episode tonight.
Yep.
Right?
I PVR them. I'm all over it. It's
do
like
you
Coronation
really?
Street.
So you can PVR Bozone. Eh? So
Coronation
what channel
Street
is it on?
Bozone Live.
It's on
Wild
TV.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Telus. I'm
Yes,
on
yes,
Telus.
correct. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch.
You should probably get the pack. Yeah, it's.
I'm gonna have to watch tonight. Yeah. I must have that channel.
It's just great.
Yeah. Do you know what channel it is on Telus?
I don't know the number. I'll text you.
I'll search. Yeah. Yeah. I want to watch tonight.
And then set up the PVR, and then you can get the whole collection.
Some good Oilers like ticks. So keep those rolling in. That should be fun. Let's get into 3 questions too many today. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segments?
3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where dealer principal Mitch Lewicki usually grabs the microphone in the dealership and tells people to stop booing other sales associates when they don't make a sale. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
Shout out Greg Popovich for grabbing the mic mid-game as the coach and telling his home crowd to stop booing Kawhi Leonard.
Just love it. Do you have the clip again?
I can bring it up quickly.
Because the announcer, too, almost. I mean, the clip is good with him on the mic, but the guy saying, Pop's got like that.
Pop's on the mic.
Pop's on the mic.
It's like when your grandpa gets up to say something and you're like, oh, Pops is on the mic. Now listen to this. This is mid-game. Kawhi Leonard's at the free throw line last night. Greg Popovich does this.
Excuse me for a second. Pops on the mic. Stop all the booing and let these guys play. It's got no class. It's not who we are. Knock off the booing.
Ooh.
Pop telling the fans to.
What's he thinking? Like, it's such a. This is the equivalent of Kenny Holland being up on the up on the stage at the presser. Like, what's the guy doing up there still? Like, what's Pop doing here? And by the way, that guy sounds like Pinter. Listen to when Pop's on the stage.
Excuse me for a second. Pops on the mic. Stop all the booing and let these guys play.
Tell me that guy doesn't sound like Rick Pinter, man. Shut up, Pinter. God, we gotta get Pinter in on the Hangout. On the that would be good. Put him on the list. Yeah, I'd like to hear him.
Pinter and Renee.
Some of his. Oh God, wouldn't that be something?
Legends.
Do you have a Twitter account, Eric?
I do. It's @Lieutenant_Eric. You can follow me on Twitter, and you can follow me on Instagram @LasagnaEnthusiast on Instagram. The app, it's still going.
And what about our station account here?
You can follow us also on Instagram @Edmonton Sports Talk or on Twitter @YEG Sports Talk. Give us a follow. You'll be up to date on anything and everything related to Edmonton Sports Talk, whether it's sales, merchandise. We do have a few new treats as well here.
Yeah, we've got stickers and decals, and we've got lanyards.
Yeah,
and
I'll be loaded up tonight at the Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Central Casino Fort Road. So if you want any of that swag, that sweet free swag,
starting to push out the branding.
Yeah. I got it all for you. So I'll be rolling in hot tonight.
It's real nice. We're coming at you. Speaking of hot, we're coming from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio this morning, where they do have the new 5 flavors of wings. We're going to take these for a test drive during our watch along tomorrow, as we will be streaming ourselves watching. We obviously can't put the game up on our stream because we don't have the rights to that, but we're going to stream ourselves watching the game, so you can at least, if it goes great, you can join us. It'll be fun. If it goes awful, you can join us. It'll be fun.
And the YouTube Trev ISOCAM will be a hit.
YouTube Trev ISOCAM will be great. No, it should end up being a pretty good time. But yeah, I'm planning on we're going to roll in the 5 new flavors of wings over at Popeyes for the boys tomorrow. It should be good. Just wings and sirloin bites. That's it. That's
go down
spread.
well after a draft, hey?
Yeah. Oh, that'll be real good after a draft. And are we trying the 6 o'clock lager tomorrow for the first time? Is that
would that not be the time?
If we're ever going to do it, I think it's like at the beginning of the watch along. Yeah. I would think that's probably where we go with it. I see Jay Woodcroft's trending on Twitter. So that's about where this team's at right now. All right, question number 1. I don't think this matters, but if the Oilers lose in Washington tomorrow, does Ken Holland get fired?
No. This isn't an opinion-based question. This is asking what you think might happen, right? I'll say no.
Yeah. If they're going to fire Ken Holland, they would have fired Ken Holland 2 weeks ago when they fired Jay Woodcroft. So
he's in.
Unless Ken Holland just goes, you know what's next? I'm out.
Fires himself.
And he sacrifices himself as another shock to the room. that's going to turn things around.
Well, that could be it.
Ken Holland is just a part of the decision makers now. If you think Ken Holland should be fired, good on you. That's fine. I said should have canned him 2 weeks ago in the Cam Wood
Well,
Cup.
he's made trades in the league before,
But
right?
you're
And
not.
that's why
You're
he's
not.
around. He knows the numbers.
I don't know how much. I don't know how much of a difference it makes if Ken Holland is fired next. Like to me, it's just
he
kind
takes
of
the Rolodex
a
with him.
waste of time. I mean,
You don't know how to make a trade now because he's been doing it for so. Like, isn't that the thought process? He's done it so much. So a steady hand to kind of guide 2J through the waters of dealing and negotiating a deal, the art of the deal.
so what does happen here, boys? Though, like
Nothing.
if they lose all 4 in this road trip, I don't know what else is supposed to happen. You've already it could have been a situation where you kept Jay Woodcroft through this trip, and if they were in the spot they're in now, then you fire him. But they've already used that bullet in the gun, and they've already shocked the team by sending out Jack Campbell. So now what do you do? What are you supposed to do?
Well, you'll make a trade. You'll give up too much to get something mediocre, and again, it won't do any shocking. Am I on the right path here? Am I onto something?
I think that's probably what happens next. But it's just not going to go over very well.
Oh no, not at all.
I mean, it would be very stunning, and I'll give them a lot of kudos and pats on the back if the Oilers somehow, some way, pull off a trade in the next 10 days that everybody's looking at and going, wow, a major win. They're going to win the Stanley Cup now. Like
Now,
that
would that-
trade doesn't exist.
But when the deal is done and you see the names, it won't make you, but perhaps the player comes in and actually turns some heads, right? Like I could see you make a deal for something, it doesn't really turn the needle, but then said player comes in here and really plays above board. That could happen, but there's no deal you're going out there and making today where you see it on sports or whatever it is, and you're like, whoa, this is... Like that doesn't exist with the way this team is and the situation. They're not gonna get a home run deal here, right?
I'd be very surprised. Very surprised. Question number 2.
First person's here. Who is it?
Well,
Lucas.
You nailed it.
For sure. I knew it.
He would have been here
I was
earlier
never
if we
even
allowed.
in doubt.
The door was open.
I was going to say, yeah, he probably's been outside waiting for the Russian spa to open the door. I mean, the door's been locked. There he is. Hey, there he is. Oh, he brought food too. Unbelievable. That A&W? Oh, burgers for the boys. What a guy. God, look at this, eh? I knew he'd be here early. So now the race is on. Corey
the race
Graham.
is on, yeah.
Oh, and a milk. God, thanks, man. Brought chocolate milk from me. This is great. Now the race is on. Corey Graham or Tommy Gazzola. Who
High
gets
stakes.
in next?
Clearly
It's CG.
but just
It's
by how much
CG.
now? That's the question. How much? What's the
Tommy
gap?
has to stop being the last person in for his show.
It's tough luck.
Like,
It's tough luck, eh?
just has
He
to.
wasn't last yesterday. I will say that, at least. He was third.
Who was last yesterday?
Cash.
Oh, yeah, Cash. Wait, Cash is a
I
listener.
mean-
Who, like,
No, I know.
Yeah,
so
that's-
and Tommy's he wasn't last yesterday, so.
All right.
Oh, you're really...
Question number 2. If someone from the Oilers was going to pull a Popovich and grab a mic mid-game on Sunday, then return home and tell fans to stop booing, who would it be?
Ken Holland. from the top.
From up top.
Excuse me, everybody, look up here. And
What's
everybody,
that?
what, who
Excuse me. Excuse me, everybody, up here.
Kind of like,
Kenny Holland.
But then he goes on for at length, 20 minutes.
This, even in Detroit, we never booed like this.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I guess Ken Holland would probably be the guy.
I'd love to see
I would say if Zach Hyman somehow got it, I'd be like, you know what? Listen to Zach Hyman.
We'd listen. Yeah, we'd all pay attention, I think.
Listen to Zach
soft-spoken, but carries
Yeah.
a big stick type.
Question number 3. And this is why we do 3 questions too many for ridiculous things like this. Boys, I saw this online, but you consider, and this kind of goes to our American friends who are celebrating Thanksgiving. And now that we've got the map set up, we'll be able to mark where people are
Yes.
listening. We've got our map. It's up on the wall. It's ready to go. So if you're listening in like a cool place someday, send it in via text or in the nasty chat, and we'll put a pin. I bought 200 map pins because I love going to Staples.
Spare no expense.
So I was in at Staples, and I got 200 map pins, and we're going to pin it up on the map of the EST around the world, which is kind of a fun little thing to do. Anyway, this ties into some of our American listeners. Boys, I saw this online. Is gravy a side, a dipping sauce, or a topping?
Well, it depends. Gravy means various things, doesn't it? Can't gravy mean like sauce to some people? Like that's the sauce?
Well, I
Sauce
think
is
that's what the
gravy,
question
gravy
is.
the sauce.
Is
yeah.
gravy a side, a dipping sauce, or a topping?
Where I come from, gravy is brown. It can be a little thick, not chunky, but like thicker. viscosity.
Yeah.
And you pour it on like potatoes or like a.
But you could
turkey.
also have it on the side and dip it in different fries, right? So
Yeah.
it could be a side. I think it's almost all three. I don't know if you had to put gravy in one of these categories, would you say it's a side, a dipping? Like a side is like
a side is like a
significant
side meal.
part of the
Are
meal.
you slurping it with a spoon?
A dipping sauce, or is it a topping, which isn't technically a side because it would go over the whole meal?
Well, it's a dipping / topping. You can put it on top or you can dip. It's up to you. But it can't be. I'm not down with the white gravy. I'm not down with the tomato sauce gravy or whatever. It's
No,
gotta be
you
brown.
need good.
Yeah, give me an
brown
OXO
gravy.
cube. I'll suck on an OXO cube. Brown gravy, yeah, you can dip. You can dunk or you can pour it over. Dink and dunk, right? Like you can do either or.
Lars is in and says gravy is not a beverage, so that's good. BM says it's a dipping or a topping, but it's not a side.
And I've been known to spoon a bit out of the I make a pretty good gravy, and sometimes you just start eating that like a bit of a soup.
You make a gravy from scratch. You just use one of those gravy packets.
No packets.
Oh, we always use the packets.
Gotta be scratch. Yeah.
I always get for for Thanksgiving and special occasions, and then sometimes when my wife just wants to make mashed potatoes, I go and get that Swiss Chalet gravy. The package, the Swiss Chalet gravy. Oh,
I like making a good roux.
What's that mean?
The butter and the flour, and you get the.
Nope, don't know it. Don't know about it.
Damn.
I'm not a
well, you know,
not a chef or a cook. You know,
we should do a gravy trade. Bring in one of your packaged ones, and I'll bring in my homemade.
Oh, a real
roux,
homemade one. Yeah, that'd be nice. Scott Laurie is in. He'll be in tomorrow for Sober and Safer Liquor Beer of the Week. He says gravy is a topping. Yeah, but how's it a topping if you can also dip fries in it? Right? So then it's a dipping sauce. But so it is interesting because, like, let's say, what's the one that you dip chicken fingers in? What's that?
Plum sauce?
Plum sauce. Like, that's a sauce. That's a dipping sauce. You're not going to.
It's a little too thick
You're
to
not gonna
pour. It's like a gel. Yeah.
So, I feel like gravy's a topping, man. I think gravy's a topping.
That you can dip.
Topping that is dipping optional.
Yeah, you can't. It's not.
It's definitely
one or the
not
other.
a side.
As I'm saying though, you can make a pretty a little soup, a small gravy, please.
Colin says, I would not eat gravy by itself, so it's not a side.
I mean, a good gravy, I guess.
I mean, depending on the gravy, I might slurp it a
packaged
little
crap.
bit on its own. You know, a couple spoonfuls of gravy helps the medicine go down. I think that's the saying. Gravy identifies as its own food group. That's from Pat Maroon's bib.
Well, it certainly can be. You can.
Real
add some
Deal
stuff in
Prime
it.
says, I can drink a light gravy, though.
If it's good.
Yeah. See, like on a poutine, that is a full-blown topping. Right? It's
Yeah,
not,
you're
it's
not
not a
dipping
dipping sauce. I think
side
gravy's
of
a
gravy
topping.
for your poutine.
Gravy's a topping. It's a topping that you can kind of dip if you want. Gord is in and says, I'm a former chef.
Uh-oh.
Gravy's probably the best thing I make. I would think that if the best thing you make is gravy, that's probably why you're not a chef anymore. Right? Like,
wow.
I don't know. I just kind of like, hey, what do you think about Gord here? Well, he's really only good at gravy. So let's find another
But gravy
chef.
can really like you could have a real dry, disgusting tasting meal, but if you get a good gravy to mask it all, right?
Yeah.
There's an Oilers tie in here somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. Guys, gravy is a dressing. You can have it on the stuff or on the side.
Well, Chris Dixon says it's a condiment, and leads me to my next question.
boy.
Can you buy like a prepackaged? I know you make it from the package, but imagine buying a bottle of gravy, a squirt bottle of gravy.
How do we not have that yet?
I don't know. You could.
Of all the different things you can have, how can you not go and buy pre-made bottles of gravy that would lead to, like, conveniently just putting gravy on more stuff?
Squirt.
I feel like the whole gravy industry has been holding themselves back by not making that a thing yet.
Imagine dressing up like a post-Christmas or post-Thanksgiving sandwich, like a turkey bun.
Heinz, where are you at right
squirt
now?
of
Yeah.
gravy on there.
Yeah. This is a major ball-dropping moment.
I like the condiment. That's a good shout.
Yeah.
Should
Real
be a
good
con-
idea.
yeah.
I like that. Anyway, keep those keep those rolling.
Cup of soup. How about a cup of gravy?
People have a cup of soup. How is that any different than a cup of gravy? Well, it's pretty significant.
I'd get down to that.
They're not going to pour soup all over mashed potatoes.
You're getting your salt intake.
All
Soup
right.
over mashed potatoes, actually.
Yeah.
Certain soups.
I got
Cream-based, a tomato.
I got beef coming up. We're going to get to that here in around, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, somewhere in there. Right now, though, and you can keep your Oilers comments coming in. We also beat the Oilers to death in the first 2 hours of the show today. So let's let's set the stage for what we like to refer to as fun. Which, bringing in the commish, which is the scariest thing. Like, I should have never teed it up that way. Let's have some fun. Let's bring in Commissioner Owanek.
Stop booing him.
For the SNL draft tomorrow, where we are going to determine our draft order for the draft tomorrow. Myself, Lieutenant Eric, Tommy Gazzola, and glue guy Jay Milne will be drafting. Finished second in his first draft, our first EST draft a few weeks back. Mr. Lean, what's going on here? What do we got?
We're doing 2 draws today. We're two
draws.
Well, 2
okay.
spins.
I got beef.
The first spin. Well, this is the draw. Nothing has started yet, so this is starting from scratch.
Okay.
Yes, we're trying to still figure out the best process for this. So we're gonna first spin for first pick, then second pick, then third pick, then fourth pick.
Okay.
And then we're going to spin for first selection of chair, second selection of chair, third selection of chair, fourth selection of chair.
Can I throw something at you?
Sure.
I think we were talking about this post-draft last time. But if we thought about whoever gets first pick can pick where they pick.
Yes, I thought that's the thing I threw Eric's way, and I thought as I was coming into, I feel like it was very convoluted.
So too much to handle for this one?
Not to handle. I didn't know if you guys would all be okay with this. Because it's very convoluted where I was going to do just we'll do 4 spins. You get first, second, third, fourth.
Yeah.
Person who picks first.
Can choose where they pick. If they want the 4 or 5 swing, they can take it.
Or they could also pick their chair.
Oh, boy.
And then second pick would also pick, third would pick,
flip, right?
Fourth would pick both, then whatever is remaining of one, or like we get 2 picks in a row, and then we go back the other way to finish it up kind of thing. So we're basically, if we do it that way, we're going to draw a 2-round draft for the draft.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's not tough.
So you could choose. Oh yeah, that's
first
so
overall
pick.
Either could take the chair or they could take
where they want to pick.
Where they pick in the draft. Their second pick, which will be the 8th pick, they'll have to pick whatever's left. Second pick will pick either a chair or a pick. They will pick 7th and have to fill out their last little bit. So that's where it was a little convoluted. It's a little hard to explain. But if you guys are okay with that, I'll just handle that all on my own.
So, we'll do it?
We'll still have to draw. There'll only be one.
So we'll do 1 spin today.
Well, 4
confused.
times.
I'm now confused.
Okay, we're gonna go that way because I'm gonna confuse you.
Okay, so tell me what we're doing.
We're gonna draw who gets the first pick in the
draft. The draft of
the draft.
Just okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh boy. So this is the first pick, and then this person will be determined if they want to take.
They could
best
select.
seat or wherever
They could pick either their seat or they could pick their draft position.
This is the most meaningful spin in the history of Nielson Show.
We'll see how this plays out.
Drafts.
Okay, here we go.
This is big.
The order, you can't see it on the side. The way you guys all showed up on here went based on the results of last draft. So Dusty, I entered in first,
Dusty,
then Glue Guy, then Lieutenant Eric, then Tommy. That's how it was entered in.
But if you go
Here we go.
All right, let's do it. Oh, man, I really want this. Glue Guy.
So Glue Guy will get.
God.
He will get the first selection. He will be able to select either the chair he's in or which draft spot he's in. Give me a second. Give me a second.
There we go.
I just had the feedback there. I had to get rid of it.
All right, Glue Guy will have the choice of chair or where he wants to go in this draft. Well, this is good. So how are we going to determine this?
I'll text them.
Okay, so we'll get the answers today so we know where we're drafting.
You guys will, yes. We'll unveil the results tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. Good idea.
On the pre-show.
On our pre-draft show. Okay, I get it. All right, so Glue Guy, just for everybody who's confused.
The spin for number 2.
Spinning.
Yeah.
We're spinning.
Oh, yeah.
Lieutenant Eric will get the second pick.
Completely hosed here.
The fix is in.
There you go. There's the clap.
Yeah.
We'll remove you.
Come on. I still want this. Don't give it to Tommy. He's not even here.
Loser of last draft. Uh-oh.
Tommy gets it.
How did that thing keep moving? Are you kidding me? Wow. Great.
So,
just great.
And then we just got to get it done. Got to make it official.
You're doing him like this, eh?
And Dusty, you got to do it all. You got to make it official.
So
you got to draft them.
I'm going to be.
You'll get the swing of the pre-draft.
Yeah, but it's.
You might get the choice of your chair.
I'm going to be picking third. That's what's going to happen.
You might get the choice of your chair, though.
Terrible chair.
You might get the choice of the chair.
The chair.
So, and we've expanded the draft too. We've added to it's 15 rounds now. And this is the draft. If you're drafting a Saturday Night Live episode, so there's going to be a host, there's going to be a musical guest. We've expanded it to 6 cast members, 3 females and 3 male cast members. And then everything else that you guys spoke about yesterday, which was weekend update host, weekend update recurring character, cameo appearance, 3 recurring sketches, and a celebrity impersonation, which will have to be, you have to give me who's playing the impersonation and who's the impersonation, I guess.
Okay.
So it'd be like Will Ferrell impersonating Alex Trebek type thing.
Okay. All right.
You need to give both. Because some characters, some impersonations, they have multiple different people playing it.
Sure.
I want the specific person playing that person.
I'm rattled by this new format here. Because, like, before when you spun fourth, you got the 4-5 swing, which was now you kind of just get screwed.
You know what happened here? This ain't the Nielson show draft anymore. It's the EST draft.
It is.
So
It's too true.
You've lost some power.
It's too true.
Power schmauer is still going to win it. But it's tough. It's tough in this spot. I don't want to pick. Mind you, this is an interesting draft because, you know, in a lot of the drafts that we do, you're like, I'd rather have the 4-5 swing than number 1. I think, I mean, there's so much talent in this thing that I don't think there's really a bad place to draft in the first few rounds.
Very rich
right?
show. Lots of memorable moments for me personally.
Barry the Cheaters in says Chris Farley, first overall pick. If that's where Glue Guy goes, if he decides to keep the first overall pick, there's no surprise. I am almost certain he'll be taking Chris Farley.
Is there a consensus number 1?
I think it's Chris Farley.
Would it be Chris? I
think-
mean, there's a lot of strength below him. Like if you're missing out on Farley, like, okay, well.
Well, yeah,
now I
no,
have a
that's right.
choice
There's a lot of
of- yeah,
strength.
I mean-
but if for some reason Glue Guy was like, I'm going to take the 4-5 swing, and then you're like, well, I'm going to take number 2, and Tommy pulls a Tommy and takes the third pick, and I get the first overall pick, I'm taking Chris Farley. I'm announcing it right now. So, but yeah, this could be a real fun draft. I hope it ends up being hilarious, right? I think that'll be pretty good. SJ not in the Kootenai says it's got to be Kristen Wiig, number 1 overall. It's interesting because there have been more in general male cast members than female cast members, and we have to draft 3 of each. So I think there will be some added value on Kate McKinnon, on Tina Fey, on Kristen Wiig, not to the point where Glue Guy and Tommy are taking coach speeches in the first and second round of the previous draft, but I do think that factors in here.
You mean Elvis Costello's performance doesn't go number 1 overall if I do get that pick?
Let's see here. Question for the commish. Do you have to fill an entire roster, or can one pick be made and then decline at each consecutive pick? I ask because I believe there is a way to win this with just 1 pick. He's going to take just 1 pick?
I think I know.
You have to fill out an entire roster, right?
Well, that's just stupid.
Ooh, jeez.
Well, what's the point? If we're going to draft and all of a sudden someone's going to sit there and go, no, I'm kicking you out of the league.
What?
You're kicking them out.
If somebody did that, we're not there to, like, there's an entertainment value to all this, to just sit there and go, I'm taking 1 pick and then I'm voiding every pick after. What are we doing here?
We know who the texter's referring to, right?
Chris Farley. Is it?
Take Farley and not draft anybody else.
Wayne Gretzky, right? Isn't it Wayne? Thinking that this market, you choose Wayne Gretzky? Like any and all draft that he can be eligible to be picked in?
I am not taking Wayne Gretzky.
At all?
At any point in this draft.
Oh, man.
None.
You're not playing to
Look,
win.
man.
EST Glue Guy has made his selection.
He's already in. Okay, just a second.
I'm not saying it on air.
Oh, okay, yeah. Can you text it to us, though?
I'll text you all individually. I'll text you all individually.
Take the first overall pick.
I'm not.
Take Chris Farley.
Well, you'll find out tomorrow on the pre-show, 9 o'clock.
But like, I think a lot of times having that Oiler bump helps.
Yeah, but
right now,
no,
is not one of those times.
Yeah.
It is not one of those times right now.
But it's worth a flyer, is it not? I mean, you kind of, I could see him going later on, and they.
Joe Belineski says, I'm just going to start the hashtag for the hashtag justice for Dusty hashtag right now. Ooh.
For what?
Very rarely do I have that on my
Where's the
side,
injustice? Spun a wheel and...
People are sleeping on Eddie Murphy. He did James Brown, Gumby, Mr. Robinson, Buckwheat. I don't think people are sleeping on Eddie Murphy. I mean, Eddie Murphy will...
Well, the summer anthem as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Fresh on people's minds. Wasn't that a time, eh? Oh, boy.
Kyle says, can you trade pre-draft picks for in-draft picks?
Oh, boy.
Like if I wanted to trade for Milne's first pick
No, that's
in the
just-
decision of the picks.
I guess I'd have.
That'd be tough to figure out.
No, it wouldn't.
Whoa. The commissioner wants you to.
It wouldn't be. It'd just be, okay, you're going to give up your... Well, because you're only trading your first pick.
Yeah.
And Jay's already made his selection. Eric, you're on the clock. I'll actually unveil the results today in the Hangout.
Oh, you will?
To pick my
Thank-
seat.
Or your pick.
You get it. You're the second pick, so you get to choose
I'm
either.
very confused. So I don't...
You could choose either one of
the two.
The two, and
can I choose now?
text it to me. I've just sent it on the phone. We'll unveil it in the
So
Hangout.
hypothetically, say I would not.
Let's say
elect to
Jay
choose
took
my
the
seat.
fourth pick. You could either choose pick 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
or you could pick whatever of the 4 chairs.
But if I pick a pick and not a chair, then how do I know where I sit? That just kind of
You'll in the second round. We'll figure that out.
This is ridiculous. Guys, is there a host category? Yes, there is a host category.
Yeah. I think there's
You can't have an SNL episode without
boom
a
a mic
host.
category, sound guy category, executive producer category.
Where is the here it is. We got the list again. Here it is. So here's the full-blown list again for everybody. This will be happening from 9 to 11 tomorrow. Then the lock shop. Then the oil stream pre and post game. Then our live watch along on YouTube
Well,
of
not
us
post-game.
watching the pregame. Yeah. Live watch along of us watching the Oilers caps, and then the postgame. We will be drafting a host, a musical guest, 3 male cast members, 3 female cast members, a weekend update host, a weekend update recurring character, cameo appearance, reoccurring sketch, and 3 recurring sketches, and a celebrity impersonation. So, yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. I wanted to do an SNL draft for a long time. All right. There we go. The order is set for the draft to determine the order.
Yes.
So we're locked in on that one. Let's get into I Got Beef for Acme Meats.
Okay.
Eat fresh. Eat local. Eat Acme. Eat show meat.
No, now we are.
Hey, can you... hey, where's that brown envelope that Corey brought yesterday? Did you put that somewhere? Can you go grab it? Because we're going to have a little... We're gonna have a little contest here over the next 8 weeks or so.
Oh, and that envelope is really nice too. You got the touch on that with the packing paper.
Yeah, that was amazing when he brought that in. So what we've got like an experience with Corey the Butcher at Acme Meats, where you're gonna have a chance to like you and 5 people get to go and see him like cut stuff up. So we're gonna give that away here over the next like 8 weeks.
How does that go?
Cut stuff up like this. Boom, boom, boom. You're cutting up so many things. So yeah, let's give you the details on this again. This is a pretty cool thing. Look, it comes in this nice envelope, and then it also comes with the prize comes with a gift card to Acme Meats, which is wrapped in meat wrapping
nice.
paper. I mean, that's the only way they could give that out. Okay, so here's what we got. We got a gift certificate. It's called Cutting with Corey. Acme Meat Cutting Demonstration with Corey the Butcher. The certificate is redeemable for you and up to 5 friends to do an afternoon at Acme. The certificate includes 2 hours of meat cutting and butchery instruction, which is cool. Food and drink pairings, awesome. And delicious product to take home at the end. So, yeah, this is a pretty cool setup. We're going to give this away every single time we do I Got Beef. All you have to do is text in, I got beef, and you're going to go into a draw for this. So text in right now. I want beef. That's what we're going to do. You have to text in right now, I want beef, and we'll choose one of you every week. You'll go into a draw, and then we'll do a big beef draw, butcher draw, in the new year at some point. So text in right now if you want to get in on this. I want beef to get into the draw for this very cool meat cutting demonstration. You get some food and drink pairings, delicious product to take home at the end with Corey at Acme Meats. You can't go wrong, right?
People saying like you could be.
Text in right now, I want beef. We're going to get into the segment, I got beef. And you can text us. What do you have beef with? 780-218-9999. Lieutenant Eric, what do you got beef with? Buddy?
Yeah, I got beef with if you're turning left at a light.
Okay.
And the light is green, you can, Dusty, go into the intersection.
You roll out a bit. Yeah.
Because if you sit there and don't roll out, you're never leaving the intersection.
You would always be stuck.
You would always be stuck there. There's never going to be any time.
You have to have some sort of little rollout.
So if you're there, you roll out a bit. You can even roll out. You can roll out. You can get midway. You can even go past the midway point of that intersection. Then you allow for like a car, maybe two, perhaps even three, to also roll out behind you and make that turn. But sitting at a left turn intersection behind the line and not moving at all for the green or even the yellow.
You
got
beef.
beef. I got beef. And that's why I was a couple minutes late to the Boston Pizza last night.
Oh, really?
There's recent beef.
And traffic was so I was driving from Kingsway up to Castle Downs around like 4 o'clock last night. Traffic was a mess.
I mean, the mistake
going up 97th Street. I never over there at that time. It was a god-awful mess.
I went in the mall at the south end, and I had to drive like through the mall parking lot.
Oh, yeah, sneak around
little
that way.
journey, and everybody's
Yeah.
doing everything. And yeah, it's a test of my patience, and I think I passed with flying colors. But you can go out into you can creep out in the intersection. Nobody's going to get hurt. You don't get a ticket. It's above the board. It's above the law. Like I think they even teach that in school. You can go out a bit. Yellow doesn't mean stop. It means just caution. You know?
Yeah.
Make your final move.
Red means stop.
Red means stop.
Yeah, that's right.
Got beef.
Also, huge shout out to Corey for dropping off more show meat. So we got show meat again. We're replenishing show meat. Lots of people want the beef. Lots of good text messages on that. If you want to get in on that mix, just text in I want beef to 780-218-9999. If you've got beef, you can send those over as well. I do have beef with anybody who is in any way remotely encouraged by the third period for the Edmonton Oilers last night. Like,
there's a few.
Like, are you delusional? Like, Carolina was not pushing in the third period. They had a very comfortable lead, so they were going to sit back a bit. Tell me what was actually encouraging about the Edmonton Oilers third period last night. They tried hard? Oh, cool. That's awesome. Congratulations. You tried hard. You looked like you were trying hard because the other team had already spanked you so bad that they didn't have to put in their full effort the rest of the way. What else was encouraging? You had a power play in a critical moment midway through the period when you were down 2, and you did nothing with it. That was encouraging. How could anybody try to, you might as well literally win this contest, bring down lipstick, and put it on a dead pig at Acme. Because that's all you're doing if you like the third period of that hockey game last night. All it did was provide reporters an opportunity to ask Noblock something that wasn't ripping the team again. Hey, do you like the team effort in the third period? He didn't like the team effort in the third period. He knows the truth. The truth is Carolina was sitting back and protecting a lead, and, Edmonton tried hard, had some opportunities, please. And if you did like the third period, you should be even more frustrated. Like, if you actually believe that the third period was like, wow, look at this team, they're working hard, then you should be even more pissed about the first 40 minutes, because where were they in the first 40 minutes? If all of a sudden they turned it up in the third, or the leaders or the coach said something in the second intermission, if that gets you fired up, if the third period of a game in which you didn't have a sniff in against the Carolina Hurricanes gets you fired up, I got beef with you. Because it makes zero sense. None. The third period should have just made you even more frustrated. If you like the third period last night, you're a homer. It's as simple as that. You cannot sit there and try to justify anything from the third period in last night's hockey game. Nothing. Unless you're being paid to put lipstick on a pig.
But what if they carry that energy from the third into the first tomorrow afternoon?
That's great. And then late in the first, they'll piss it away again anyway.
Yeah.
I'll be very fascinated to see how this game goes down against the Washington Capitals, because Capitals have won 5 in a row, 8-1-1 in their last 10. They really don't give up too much at all. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Washington's due to get torched, and the Oilers can somehow. It's not even salvaging the trip at this point. It's the trip's a train wreck. Even if you go 1-3, the trip is an absolute train wreck. So if I see anybody, if they lose to Washington, go, man, I really like that 7-minute stretch in the middle of the second.
Turn around.
What are you talking about? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. What else do you have beef with? Hit us up.
Everybody wants it.
I like this one. This guy says, I want. Here we go. We'll get to this one. Mike the Sparky. Morning, guys. I got beef with people who don't know you can turn left from a one-way to a one-way on a red light.
Yeah, that's a thing.
How do so many people not know how to drive properly?
Well, I think there's certain things in the course that just get overlooked or maybe not even mentioned at all. The left lane one. I mean, we can preach till the. I know how that's still not knowledgeable at all either. The left lane slow driving. You do that for 5 years. You get everybody's constant. You eventually ask the question why. Why is it always me? Maybe it is something wrong with you, and maybe you don't know that the left lane is for fast driving.
I like everybody who wants the beef. This is good news. We will draw one of your names. The boys will be in touch. We'll put you into the draw at the end. We're going to do this for, I'd say, probably 2 months, and we'll give this away in mid to late January. Rage the Oilers are salvaging the season, and everybody will be happy again. You get to go celebrate at Acme Meats.
We'll get that pig.
Have some meats. Guys, I got beef with the leadership group of the Oilers for not being leaders on the ice and leading this team in the right direction. Woo-wee. Here's another thing I got beef with. Everybody, like last night, there was a video of like Draisaitl sitting down next to Connor and like hitting his leg and Connor hitting his leg too, and they both look so sad. What I'd like to see is one of those guys sitting next to somebody else and doing the same thing. Like, it just always seems like it's just Connor and Leon together on the bench trying to get each other going. Where's Leon talking to Ryan McLeod trying to get him going? Or talking to this guy down here. It's just like they're always sitting next to each other, and it's buddy-buddy, but do that with the rest of the team. I want to see a video of Connor McDavid sitting right next to Warren Fogle and being like, come on, man, let's get going.
That'd be like a leadership
you just don't.
example, eh?
Maybe the Sportsnet broadcast, they had a tough one last night. It wasn't a great one last night. But, maybe those things are happening and they're not showing it and they only want to show McDavid and Draisaitl, but I feel like at some point somewhere along the way it would have been like, look at these guys getting everybody else fired up on the team as opposed to sitting there together and looking sad. So I kind of have a little beef with that as well. Mr. Lean, you got beef with anything? You usually have beef with stuff, don't you? You got beef
eating
with?
a beef?
No. Well, you guys never offer me anything.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's the beef.
You guys come and you guys start eating. Like when you first come over, you guys think no one offers me.
Well, you're sitting over there, we're over here. You want us to like throw you beef?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll throw this
Or
whole
offer
beef
it to
thing
me.
at you.
Or like make it, hey, would you like some or something? You guys,
Yeah,
then like you guys, kind of easy trivia. Same thing. You bring it. No one offers me again. I have
kind of easy trivia.
Like when I was setting that up, we were going. You had some more, and you never made an offer.
Had some more.
Oh, so you got beef about not getting in on the show meet all the time?
No, you're just not like I'm part. Like, I'm sitting here. I'm part of this. I'm doing things, and there's never an offer from you guys. It's
Well,
you
you
guys
always
take
seem
care
so
of each
busy over
other.
there.
Well, you can
so
still.
busy.
Well, maybe what would help me, while I'm working is a little show me.
Would you like another pull?
No, I'm good
Do you want
now.
more jerky?
I'm good.
Well, no, here,
That's-
have more jerky.
That's why I didn't bring you guys in.
more.
I grabbed, Lucas gave me a burger, and I didn't bring you guys a burger.
Wait, wait a second.
Wow.
That was my revenge.
What?
That's my revenge.
Well,
When
this
I
is
walked-
not how you're supposed to operate as a team, like.
Well, now you feel what it's like when I'm sitting here.
But you're always so busy over there.
You could then quickly.
You know we love burgers, like.
You know I love the show meat.
Yeah, but you're always so busy, right? You
So?
didn't even talk for like the first hour and 20 minutes today because I thought you were
Oh,
working
I'm
on
sorry.
stuff. So are we
That
supposed
came
to,
in the
like-
third hour, not in the first hour, 20 minutes.
No, I thought we got the show meet late in the second hour.
It was
That being
right
said,
before
you would have already
so
done
that's
your
past
bet.
the hour and
Yeah,
20
it's
minutes.
Late in the second hour.
Never, no offer ever thrown this way. Never an offer this way. I have to get up and grab my own stuff from you guys, which means I have to go in front of the camera, which just makes things weird for our listeners and viewers. And
Yeah.
so yeah,
And maybe you shouldn't have come and got any at all, right?
there's
Because
maybe
you-
beef.
Maybe that's
Well,
just it.
You know what?
That's
I will
cool.
say this: you could have asked us for some.
I
Right?
You
You
can
could say,
do it
"Boys,
public.
well, now
throw
I
me
got
a
to
beef."
interrupt the show.
No, but
You don't have to interrupt the show.
Or maybe, you
That's
could
part
just
of the show,
you
right?
could
We're
be
just chilling.
polite,
A Nielsen show uninterrupted.
or you
I
could
know.
be polite and be like, "Hey, there's a third person in this room.
Damn it, I'm sorry,
The
man.
meat's over here. Here you go." So, and the person saying, "Quit being whiny." Well, I thought this was I've got beef. I'm sharing my
It
beef.
is. That's what beef is. That's what this beef is.
SJ Not in the Kootenai says you and I, Dusty, are Connor and Leon, and he's the Warren Fogle that needs to tap down the bench, right? Like,
You don't deserve any jerky.
yeah.
I
Connor
enjoyed that
Brown.
burger
6-0.
from A&W. It was delicious.
Joel Spencer says Mr. Lean working his ass off and not getting any respect.
Tango says we don't hear YTT complain like this.
That's true. Now, with that being said, Matty's like the CEO of the company, and YouTube Trev's the YouTube Trev guy. So it's a little
tomato.
It's a little bit different.
Justice for Mr. Lean, yeah, working his ass off, not getting the respect. Yeah, it's
justice for Mr. Lean.
Somebody says rewind the feed, Matty.
Yeah, well, because you offered. Did he offer you?
I usually do by habit.
Not today.
Maybe not the first time, but maybe after. When he said, "You want some more?"
I can't help myself. It's like when you sneeze, I say, "Bless you." It's kind of those things.
Hey, do you want us to get a small little desk for the draft tomorrow?
I'm gonna use like one of these things.
Oh, okay.
I think,
and
then get a
Staples
chair.
Yesterday, and I love Staples.
We don't need.
And there's like a. It's
we
like
will
a desk.
need.
It's not super wide.
Well,
but it's
we'll
like
need a
40
desk in
inches
there
long.
one day.
It's tight.
We'll need one, but we might as well make sure we get the right one.
Okay, yeah.
But tomorrow, no, I'm gonna bring in like something like what your monitor's on, so I can put my computer on it.
Okay, yeah.
And then
Scott from
chair.
Sobeys Liquor will be bringing you some extra beer. He says, Matty, this is.
I'm not even here. Trev's still at the morning show tomorrow, right?
Yeah, well, he'll come in later.
But we'll have bevies after.
Oh,
right?
I know.
The judge will be buzzing. Hey,
Yeah,
the commission.
that'll be good.
Yeah. That's
all
fine.
Right, there you go.
It's
That's
fine.
Well, let's see
fine.
here. We got more beef. Jerry's in on the nasty chat.
You seem content, Matty. Yeah.
I got beef when people park their buggies at the end of the aisle in the middle of the walking lane, and then they walk down the aisle to grab a product and come back. It makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, if you're at a grocery store shopping, you can't leave your cart across the aisle and then go down.
It's a cart.
Well, but isn't Jerry from out east?
Is that what it is? Buggies are out
Do
there?
they call carts buggies
I got a beef
in
with calling
Ontario?
carts buggies, to be honest with you.
God.
It's carts. We were in the grocery game. It's carts.
I grew
Never
up
called
in the
buggies.
grocery game. I'm like, what's his name? I was born in the darkness. Right? I was born at Overweighty Foods.
In the warehouse.
Yeah. I was born in the warehouse.
I was born in the parking lot.
In like minus 30 weather, pushing carts. Grind it out, my friends.
Oh, pouring boiling hot water over the carts that got frozen together overnight. With the
yeah, that
box.
was always
Like
the worst.
I
too.
mean,
with that being said,
Merry
sometimes I
Christmas.
hated my job inside so much. I'd be like, jacket on, toque on. I'd go out and freeze my ass off outside for 20 minutes.
Ours was part of a mall, so I'd go, well, I might as well go around the back of the mall, see if there's any carts back there.
And what were you doing around the back of the mall? I know what this guy's doing around the back of the mall. All right, that's I Got Beef for Acme Meats. Eat fresh, eat local, eat Acme. And for the next 8 weeks, let's say 8 weeks, we're going to bang out an opportunity for you to win that little prize, which is awesome as well. Speaking of prizes, Pro-Am Sports has provided us with an awesome prize. Watch our social media feeds and all of our content here. We've got a seat back from the old Coliseum signed by like 12 guys. By the Oilers. We're going to continue to, they're dropping that off here this morning. We'll do some social stuff and we'll get that out as well. And join Pro-Am and probably us at some point from 11 until 4 on Saturday for their biggest sale of the year, in-store only at Pro-Am Sports, 11 to 4 on Saturday. You can join us there as well. Travis is in and says, I got beef with people eating while live on the air. Gross. Well, that's a tough thing when you got the show meat,
Not
right?
that bad.
It's tough with the show meat.
I'm not like opening my mouth.
Yeah, you're not doing that. All right, well, the race is on here between CG and Tommy Gazzola. Remember when Tommy said he was going to be in at 8:30 today?
It's
8:52.
7 minutes till your show starts.
Yeah. Me and Luke could have a nice, wonderful chat. If it's just the two of us, we could have a wonderful chat for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It will fly by.
You can
It'll be a
ask
great
Lucas
time.
how becoming the
greatest champ right now in CFL Fantasy, the only preeminent champ of CFL Fantasy.
Here, you and me. Well, the only two.
I'm
probably.
Sorry, what did you win?
Yeah.
The respect of the entire
do you have
country.
a patch? Do you have a patch? That
You know what? Actually, I won. I'll tell you what I won. I got to host Grey Cup Saturday. That was our prize. I just didn't tell you guys.
Sure.
Whichever one of us won got to host Grey Cup Saturday this year. And it just happened to be me, so it worked out really well. Basically had the biggest juggernaut.
The
in
franchise
CFL
of San
history.
Antonio Texans, it's like the engraving of the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
The new patch for the championship has been
That looked real
delivered.
nice. Looked real nice.
And it will eventually very soon be put on to the championship and in the new year be awarded to Mr. Lucas in San Antonio,
Congratulations
Texas.
to Lucas
Big
for
party
owning
coming
you
up in
guys
San
there.
Antonio.
Yeah. I do look
It's gonna
forward
be a
in his
great
acceptance
time.
speech, though, to mention, hey, I'd like to thank the Memphis Mad Dogs, who I beat in the final, for reminding me to dress a lineup for said final. We were both next to each other. We both said, hey, the game's about to start, and we both went in. Rewind the tape.
Anyway, I was going to say you can ask Lucas about how becoming the house band for us has launched the careers even further of Waylon Wolf.
No, I was telling Eric yesterday, I'm very excited to get his thoughts on how the Oilers move on from here and what roster moves they could make and how could the Oilers find space to get Connor Brown's penalty from next year onto this year's books and
accruing.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Accruing
That's
space.
what we're doing all show, Luke.
Moving money in, money out.
All right, let's get into the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, get it done at William Huff. Look at this logoing. Are you serious? These just used to be plain Jane walls. Simple as that. And who's here?
CG and Tommy are here.
A tie.
Again, I love it.
A tie. Tommy, I thought you were going to be in at 8:30 today. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, he says.
How's Kelly's?
Did you go to Kelly's last night? Yep. He's got a residency at Kelly's, man. It's good. All right, what'd you learn on the show today, buddy? What'd you learn?
What did we learn on the show? Nothing really breaking throughout the morning, I guess. Hey, Lewis Hamilton denies Horner's claim of Red Bull approach. The plot thickens.
Well, that's interesting. My goodness.
And we also learned that the draft tomorrow is taking on new and exciting.
It's a monster.
Will you be making a pick anytime soon?
Oh, yeah. Did I text that to you?
Let the guy finish the show.
Text me.
I got beef with people interrupting my co-host while he's doing the show with all this stressful picks. Of course, Milne can make his pick.
I got
Milne's
beef
not
is
doing
over.
anything.
I got beef is over.
I got beef is never
The
over.
screen says the wrap.
I got beef is never over.
It does say
I learned today that I guess I got beef is over.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
But the contest
I also
is
learned
just
today that
starting.
Ian Rapoport is having a tenderloin
Yeah.
with turkey today for American Thanksgiving.
Non-smoked.
I also like the Lions by 10. So I think they roll. By the time we talk lock shop today, that game's gonna be over. Starts at 10:30. We go lock shop at 11. Game over already.
Will you be wearing a blue balaclava as well for the that thing needed to take off Lions?
I
fans.
should have
You
brought.
need to-
Should
you've
have
all
brought
gotta
in
be doing
my.
that.
Should have worn my Megatron
love
jersey
that.
today.
Yeah.
That's on me. All right, let's get to your sound of the day. We gotta go back to pop,
Yes,
right?
we do. Yes, we do.
I know I was gonna
And
play the
the
6
guy
o'clock
on the
song again,
broadcast
but-
as well, yeah.
Yeah, listen to this. This is Greg Popovich, the head coach of the Spurs, during the game while Kawhi is being booed at the free throw line.
Excuse me for a second.
Pops on
Can
the
we
mic.
stop all the booing and let these guys play? It's got no class. It's not who we are. Knock off the booing.
Pop telling the fans to lay off Kawhi Leonard.
Pop's got the mic.
Pop's got the mic.
Excuse me for a second.
Pops on
Can
the
we
mic.
stop all the booing?
I can't believe how much that guy sounds like
Just
Rick.
give me the Holland version up top.
That is
like a
insane.
20-minute And another thing.
All right, text of the day today for A&W. If you want delicious A&W food and coffees, like what Lucas brought in today.
Burgers for the boys.
How is the burger? What do you get?
It's
there?
an A&W burger.
Is it Papa?
Do I need
So
to
it's
say
delicious?
it's like
Is it delicious?
exactly?
Of course
You don't
it
have to
is,
say
yeah.
anything. It's a question you don't even have to ask.
Uncle, mama, baby, buddy.
I don't know. I think that's a buddy.
Buddies are great.
I think that's a buddy.
Great bun. on
Hold
those.
it up. Let me see it.
Well, I've eaten it.
Oh, it's gone.
Well, I've eaten it.
Well, how much is left?
Oh, that's just some of the onions and stuff.
Oh, but so why were you looking in the bag trying to figure out which burger it was?
I was just looking on the bag. To
Oh, okay. I thought you were still looking at the burger. That's why I'm like, what's going on? The burger's gone.
see. No, I was
So
looking
confused.
on the
God.
packaging.
Wow.
It says Buddy
What
Burger.
a morning.
Buddy
so-
burger, yeah.
What a morning.
Do you have cheese on it?
Yeah, there's some cheese.
Spare no expense.
The mushroom mozzarella. Man, I love when you say spare no expense. God, Jurassic Park never disappoints. I was going to say, the mushroom mozzarella burger is back, and it's like $4.59. So get your
That's
hands
a
on
hell
that
of a deal for a
at
burger.
A&W. That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me. All right, text of the day. Where do we go? Let me lay out some of the best ones for you. These are all good. The Edmonton Oilers are like one of those expensive paintings that people view. You know it's worth something. You're not sure what you're looking at, but everyone tells you it's good and valuable. That's a good one. The Oilers look like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber when Cam Neely goes into the stall with him, and he has that faraway look in his eyes, sucking his thumb, and kept saying, "Take me to a safe place." That's good. Here's a few more that rolled in. The Oilers are like Tommy Gazzola with no urgency to get to work on time. That's in from Taco. I like this one, too. The Oilers are like Tom Gazzola hosting a hunting show. They look the part, but they're covered in piss and have no idea what they're doing. That's a good one, too. Yeah. So what do we want? What do you want?
One of the Tommy ones.
Yeah, I think
Flip a
the
coin.
looking piss
The
one.
piss
there.
one. Yeah. Got a bigger laugh from him too.
Let's go with that one. The Oilers are like Tom Gazzola hosting a hunting show. They look the part, but they're covered in piss and have no idea what they're doing. That is a nice way to wrap the show, to wrap the day. That's a fun one. Make sure you stick around. What are you watching tonight? I guess we're watching football tonight, and you'll be at Century.
Join me, Century Casino Sports Bar Lounge, Century Casino Fort Road. Full day of football they'll have on at the screens, but you can join me tonight for the Thursday nighter Seahawks 49ers, $9.99 smoked brisket, cheesesteak, and a free square board tonight as well.
I'm taking that Tommy text, and I'm starting a new folder in Notepad, and it's going to be Text of the Year folder. Right? I guess we got to start putting that together moving forward.
Get those plaques out again.
Let's do that. All right, can you hurry up and make your pick for Maddie as soon as we're off the air here? Like we got to get.
No,
that
I will.
done.
Yeah, can I?
Yeah,
Do I have a
then
time limit? Is there like a?
Well, I wouldn't announce it during the Hangout.
I will do
Are
that.
you coming in a little bit earlier tomorrow to get ready for draft day and stuff?
I mean, a little early.
Well, I mean, like not as late as Tommy. I
No.
guess.
Well, the 2 times I came in this week, it was like 8:15,
Yeah,
8:20.
I mean, like, you're coming
That's
in
about
like
the
8
same.
o'clock?
No.
Because it's draft day, maybe.
Why?
Well, there's more to prep, probably, right? So
No.
This is gonna get.
I'll
so
be
you got to
set.
move one of these stools over and stuff.
I've got things.
I
Don't
feel
worry.
like you should be here just a little bit earlier.
I've
for
got
draft day.
the afternoon a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
afternoon
true,
today.
yeah.
I got a little bit of time.
Okay, fair
Just
enough.
don't worry about me.
All right, what's coming up on the Hangout?
Worry about myself.
Tom Gazzola is here. Corey Graham.
We're in
He's
that
in the
merch from the
house.
Hive too.
Lucas Holt
Look at that.
in the house. Me for 2 hours.
Beautiful.
It's gonna be fantastic.
It's going to be a good show. Stick around. If you're watching on YouTube, just make sure autoplay's on. We'll take you right over there for what should be an awesome 2 hours. I'll be back with the Lock Shop at 11. 2 guys and a goalie at noon today for Mr. Lean and Lieutenant Eric. I am Dustin Nielson. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. Have a great day and take it easy.